Pokémon Anime TV worldview+Paddy region Zhu Zi storyline+Forever Zhipi+Unswerving Rocket Team. This book is positioned towards sentimentality and realistically recreates the character exchange between Ash and Pikachu in the anime TV, embarking on an adventurous journey into Parthia. In other words, this is Pokémon Horizon, which belongs to Ash. Non-invincible flow, non-reincarnation, non-system, non-golden finger, there will be wins and losses in battles. If you want to see Zhipi win to the end, please exit on your own. Absurd, I don't know what GF company is thinking. It's okay to let a superhero dog grab a spot on the journey, and the three families won't give a single one to Xiaoji. There's nothing else left, little by little, trying to test the audience's bottom line. What's even more outrageous is that Xiaoji and Pikachu, a classic duo that has been going on for 25 years, switch people whenever they want, and let a pair of new trainers, Liko and Roy, continue their journey. But it's okay. Pokémon fans who have been around for over 20 years will take action. Let's take a look at Pikachu and see how he will escape after becoming the king of the world bidding competition. What will he experience when he enters Zhu Zizhang and the Parthian region? A series of game plotlines, including new Pokémon, new partners, new enemies, unchanging rockets, perfect fusion of Championship Path, Star Path, and Treasure Master Path. The journey of Pokémon has come to an end, but the journey of Pokémon continues. Chapter 1. The World Championships King escapes to unknown regions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the small island port in the Parthian region, 4 figures are running inland, as if fleeing for their lives. Upon closer inspection, a bright red duckbill cap, a deep blue jacket, a pure white T-shirt underneath, simple black shorts, backpack, sports running shoes, and gloves are all in place, showcasing their competence. This energetic young man, originally the king of the New World Championships, comes from Jinshin Town and is only 10 years old, Xiaoji. And his Pokémon who shone brightly in the 8 Masters. The Yellow Lightning of Jinshin Town. Pikachu, the Nova of Waveguides. Lucario, and the one who never appeared in the competition. The Magic Wall Doll. What kind of threat could make this young king, who has been through countless battles, the extraordinary Pokémon, run out of breath and fear? Waha. Since you sincerely ask for advice, I will answer you with great compassion. To prevent the destruction of the world, to safeguard world peace, implementing love and true evil, a cute and charming villain character, Musashi. Kojiro. We are the rocket team shuttling through the Milky Way, white hole, white tomorrow is waiting for us, that's it, meow. Sonins. It turned out to be Xiaoji's old friend. The rockets. In the air, the two sat on a meow-shaped hot air balloon. Musashi shook his long ponytail hair and said, "Little devil, quickly hand over your world's strongest Pikachu who defeated the world's strongest Spitfire dragon." Kojiro cried on the side and said, "I was truly moved to witness a groundbreaking showdown where Little Ghost and Pikachu grew up so well." Raising his hand to wipe away the tears on his face, he continued. "However, we don't want to let go of this Pikachu. It has always been our wish to dedicate it to Sakaki, the boss, in order to be promoted, meow." That's right, that's it. Be obedient and surrender. In the face of the strongest equipment we've worked hard to obtain with our hard work money, you have no chance of winning. Sonins, Meow Meow and Guo Ranweng each drove the Extreme Giant Meow and Extreme Giant Guo Ranweng robots, chasing after Xiaoji and his group. On the hot air balloon, Musashi clasped his hands together and clenched his fists, feeling emotional. It's really not easy. I have to work hard as a live broadcast host, photographer, and venue manager to earn money and save money, while also paying Morabek for the food he owes. Kojiro responded on the side. Yeah, there's something else that needs to be compensated to the headquarters. The Pokémon Egg Twister in Big Mouth Gull's mouth was also hit and damaged by the other 8 masters around Xiaoji during a raid on Pikachu's plan. Fortunately, we have Morabek from Kojiro, which can be mortgaged to headquarters, and then returned to the Big Mouth Gull and Mobile Lodom, as well as sold other equipment from the Galar region base. We worked dozens of extra gigs to save money to build these 2 giant robots. Kojiro cried again. Meow, you're going too far. Morabek is quite cute even when he's full. My Morabek, Musashi lifted little Jiro with one hand and lay on the edge of the hot air balloon frame, crying. Yes, yes. When we catch Pikachu and become a senior member of the headquarters, let's reunite with other colleagues in the handover headquarters. Drive the hot air balloon quickly, and it feels like the natural wind and direction of the place chasing the little ghost are somewhat abnormal. Zayajiro, who was lifted away, stood up and struggled to pull the directional rope that controlled the hot air balloon. The terrain is very strange. The small island is spacious, and from a distance, there is actually a mysterious deep pit in the middle. Winds from all directions are surging out of the pit, and it's almost unbearable. Meow, meow. Indeed, Wang has handed it over to you. Don't worry, let's leave it to us. Although our giant robots are tall and far from the ground. With high altitude, they are easily blown by strong winds, but they are not cheap goods. They are the supermodels we have invested all our savings to create, and even a little wind is not afraid. It's you, little devil. Keep the good king safe, confess not to do anything, surrounded by a group of 8 masters. We can't even get close to you, and when we're about to dispel our thoughts on you, we happen to see you from afar one night, riding on this ship that we don't know where to sail. Xiaoji was caught panting while speaking. How annoying, Rocket. Where did I go? You guys are everywhere. Stop struggling, we will keep chasing until we catch Pikachu. Xiaoji turned his head to Pikachu and the other Pokémon on the side and said. Pikachu, do you still have the strength to fight? Pickups, pickup trucks. Watching Pikachu struggling to run ahead, turning his head to answer me, and then shaking his head, he looked at Lucario, the magic wall doll, who was also flying together on both sides. Oh. Moni. Also shake your head. Damn it, if it weren't for accepting advanced challenges from other trainers last night and suddenly having the opportunity to leave and flee there, without first going to the Pokémon Center to restore your stamina. They would only have taken away Pikachu, Lucario, and the magic wall dolls used in last night's battles, as well as the dormitories at Sakuragi Research Institute. The other companions, including Quaisho, Gingu, Onion Ranger, and Gillfish Dragon, stayed at Sakuragi Research Institute after bidding farewell to avoid attracting attention. Pikachu, Lucario, and the magic wall doll, you should return to the Pokémon Ball first. When the ship arrives on the island, you will encounter them and deal with them, wasting a lot of your energy. Take a good rest first, and I will quickly find the Pokémon Center for you to receive treatment. Speaking, he took out the elf ball and subdued Lucario and the magic wall doll first. Oh. Moni. They said they could fight again, but were still subdued by Xiaoji, who loved Pokémon, facing the 2 Pokémon balls in their hands. Thank you all for your hard work. After finishing speaking, take it back to the waist belt and then take out another Pokémon ball. Pikachu, come back quickly too. A red light flashed by, and Pikachu jumped up and escaped. Pikachu exclaimed, slightly angry and unwilling. Pickups. Pickups. Pikachu. Watching Pikachu turn around, he gave Xiaoji a firm look. Really, I understand. Xiaoji nodded and withdrew the Pokémon ball from his hand. Not far in front of them, there was a girl holding a camera. At the downhill pond on the side of the road, she was holding a camera and focusing on a group of new Pokémon that Little Smart had never seen before. The girl looked at the camera lens in her hand, swaying lightly and muttering from time to time. Strange. Did I shake my hands, shouldn't I? Looking back at the camera, I saw the group of new Pokémon with long red necks and long legs standing in the water. They seemed to feel danger and looked up, then waved their wings and left. Just as the girl was puzzled and put down her camera, a series of tremors hit her from far to near. What is this? As the girl was frantically looking around, Xiaoji appeared from the slope behind her. The girl's bicycle parked on the roadside was kicked by Xiaoji and lifted onto the bike. Pikachu, come up quickly. Pikachu jumped up and landed in the basket in front of the bicycle. Hey! Why? Just as the girl was puzzled, Xiaoji quickly got on the bike, stood up, and rode away, shouting from a distance. Sorry, the bicycle is in urgent need. I will return it to you as soon as I use it. As he spoke, he pushed further and further away. What is it? Only the young girl remained dazed in place. Suddenly, a big foot fell from the sky and crashed into the spot where the bicycle had just been parked. Wow! With a cry of surprise, the girl sat on the ground with both hands covering her ears, and the camera in her hand fell in response. Fortunately, it was hung around the girl's neck, and the strap connecting the camera saved her life, preventing her from falling to the ground. Watching two huge robots pass by in front of them, there was also a black shadow projected from the sky drifting by. Little ghost, you really know how to run. A subtle condemnatory voice emanated from these unknown objects, and after a long commotion, it slowly spoke. What? This is. With the blessing of bicycles for transportation, Xiaoji and Pikachu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Pikachu, take a break first. When you reach the open area ahead, you can use 100,000 volts to deal with them in one breath. Pickup truck. Pikachu nodded firmly. Suddenly, the Lotem phone on Xiaoji's body rang, and upon activation, it flew out of its pocket and kept moving at a constant speed beside Xiaoji. Xiaoji didn't make a move and glanced at the incoming call video display on the screen. Mr. Dondi. Was it still discovered? Xiaoji sighed and took a deep breath. Hey, there's nothing we can do. Let's answer. The video call was connected, and before I could see the face of the Dondi clearly, two faces on each side approached tightly. Hey! Xiaoji, where have you been? Don't think that becoming a king means being carefree. The meaning of a king is a symbol of facing trainers and Pokémon in battle. At the same time, you also need to accept other master level challenges. Upon hearing the familiar voice, Xiaoji glanced again and awkwardly greeted her. Oh, Mr. Dondi, Mr. Chibana, Miss Kadu, hello. The Dondi pushed away the two people on the left and right. Wait a moment, I have something to say first. Xiaoji, come back quickly. You still have a few performance matches, TV interviews, commercial endorsements, and you need to make a name for yourself. Also, your customized king's costume and cloak have already been made. As he spoke, he took out the clothes and glanced at them again. The black shirt, white shorts, and the logo of the Galar Alliance were printed on them. The cloak was adorned with various commercial company logos, all of which were the same as Mr. Dandy's previous suit. After seeing them, Xiaoji was speechless for a moment. Chibana beside him could not resist roast. Isn't this a reduced version of your outfit? By the way, what kind of clothes are you wearing now? A wine red striped shirt with a tailcoat decoration, it's like a high-end hotel waiter. The Dondi retorted. What's wrong with this? I really like my new clothes now. They used to be held up by people, but now that Xiaoji finally takes over my position, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Besides, unlike you two, I don't work as the owner of the Yudao Pavilion. If I lose my job as the king's spokesperson, I will lose my job. Now, I am a part-time intern referee for Pokémon battles. Please give me more guidance. Kadu, who was beside him, pushed Chibana's face away with his hand and leaned over to speak. Xiaoji, I am currently ranked 9th in the advanced level, almost reaching the master level. At that time, I will be the first to challenge you. Chibana once again pushed the colored beans out of the screen. You're only at the advanced level, don't talk nonsense. I'm currently ranked 6th at the master level. Even if you want to fight, you still have to fight me first. What are you saying? Keidu spoke as she lifted her head with force. What I'm saying is a fact. Chibana once again pressed heavily on Keidu's head, and both of them were in a stalemate. As they spoke, they started to fight against each other's faces. Dondi lowered his head, turned around, and placed his phone behind them. Ignoring the noise, the two of them started chatting with Xiaoji alone. Speaking of Xiaoji, what are you doing now? You seem very busy. Xiaoji glanced at the screen for a moment, and then it was right ahead. The screen camera on Xiaoji's side kept shaking left and right from the moment he answered. Sorry to reply. Sorry, Mr. Dondi. I'm a bit busy right now, but you don't have to worry. Okay, let's get to the point. Why is the signal so unstable and intermittent? When are you coming back, Xiaoji? The alliance has already exploded, and a lot of work is stalled. Dan. Mr. Dan Emperor. Xiaoji hesitated awkwardly. It's okay, Xiaoji. You can tell me. It's Mr. Dondi. The current position as the king is not what I wanted. Besides, there were too many uncertain factors in that final. Not only did Mr. Dondi agree to me using Mega Evolution, Z moves, and Extreme Greatness as 3 combat mechanisms, but also the unexpected appearance of Nirvana gave me another chance to achieve Extreme Greatness. I won the game without a fight. Don't say that, Xiaoji. I think we should do our best in battles. I really enjoyed that battle, and no matter what kind of battle mechanism you worked hard to gain, it was something that none of us, the other 8 masters, had. Whether it was Mega Lucario, Mega Zhenghao, or Z.Move Pikachu, they all had their full power without reservation. Thank you, Mr. Dondi, for your encouragement. Actually, I still have some heartless requests. Well, you know, who are we with? Xiaoji had the courage to express his inner thoughts. I don't think being a king is equivalent to my wish. To become a Pokémon master. My journey should not be settled here, I need to go out and see more places, meet more people and Pokémon, and travel with different companions. Is this your only, real thought at this moment? Yes, Mr. Dondi, I'm sorry. That's all we can do. I'll help you publish the new rule you added after becoming the king, which is: Master level challenges do not allow you to cross-level challenges. If you want to challenge the king, you must first defeat the runner-up to qualify. What do you think? Isn't that? Yes, as the runner-up, I will help you resist a large number of challengers. You can rest assured during this period, but the condition is limited to being defeated by other challengers. Xiaoji was moved for a moment. Mr. Dondi. Emperor Dan interrupted. But I also have a request. Well, you said, Mr. Dondi. That's during this period, I will constantly enhance my own strength, and at the same time, you will also enhance your strength. One day in the future, I will be the first challenger to challenge you. That's for sure, and I'm also looking forward to fighting Mr. Dondi again. Alright, Xiaoji, that's all. Let's not talk anymore. Your signal over there is too bad, I won't disturb you. If you're busy, just hang up first. Okay, Mr. Dondi, I don't know where I went in a hurry last night. Let's talk later. After hanging up the video call, Dondi looked up and sighed. After the legend of the strongest king ends, will the legend of the strongest runner-up start again? Upon hearing this, Chibana, who was playing and chattering, Keidu did not let go of her hand movements. She just turned her head and looked at the Dondi, speaking in confusion. The strongest runner-up. Chapter 2. The Mysterious Power. Crystallization. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know how long it has been riding, Zhu Zi said angrily. Damn the rockets, chasing so hard that they don't even let me take a break. Starting from last night, I hurriedly packed up and bid farewell to the Quilong and their companions at the Sakuragi Research Institute. I quickly boarded a passenger ship without knowing what flight to take. After disembarking, they were chased by them again, and after a brief maneuver, they continued to flee, unable to see what region this was. Running all the way here, I only noticed that the place was very spacious, with strong winds coming from all directions. As for the new Pokémon, I ran away and saw many, but didn't have the opportunity to stop and see them one by one. Zhu Zi glanced at the rockets behind him and said to Pikachu in front of the basket. Pikachu, is it my illusion? How do I feel like the robot behind me seems to be slowing down? Pick up. Pikachu shook his head. The Meow Meow in the Meow Meow type giant robot communicates with Musashi, Kojiro, and Karan Ong through walkie-talkies. No problem everyone, little ghosts are too good at running. Due to excessive costs being spent on the development of the robot body, the cost of power supply equipment has been infinitely compressed, and now the robot is running out of power. Soa, Nance. Sure enough, Wang also stated that the robot he was driving was running out of power. It's okay, to solve this problem, the hot air balloon is equipped with an independent power supply device. Musashi said and showed off Kojiro, who was crazily riding a power bike behind him. Kojiro struggled and said. It's just a bit labor-intensive. Pulling out a power cable and swaying in the air, attempting to connect it to the charging port at the back of the Meow Meow type giant robot's brain, a gust of strong wind struck. Aha. I can't do it anymore, I can't get close to you at all. Meow Meow, Guoran Wang, why don't you use the power supply equipment that comes with your own robot? Musashi and Kojiro instructed their meowing and their voices drifted further and further away with the gust of wind blowing by. What? The built-in power supply device on the robot. Why haven't I heard of it? Sonins. Speaking, from the cockpit of these two robots, two robotic arms were extended, gripping the necks of Meow Meow and Guoran Wang respectively, pulling them up high, causing their faces to turn pale. Then, the originally comfortable upholstered seats were lowered, and a treadmill was lifted up from below. The two people who were suspended were then firmly landed on the treadmill. The two of them, who were squeezed out of breath, just took a breath back on the treadmill. Cough cough. What? This is an independent power supply device. Ah, cough cough cough. Soa. Soa Nans. Before the two of them who had just gasped for breath could even breathe, the treadmill's rollers slowly began to rotate. What, this is? Meow. Sonins. The two of them, confused, suddenly rose up in pain. Turning their heads, they saw a wolf-toothed stick lying behind the treadmill, unavoidable. It's too scary Meow, I'm not doing it anymore. After speaking, Meow Meow planned to get off the horse but was hit hard by the glass. What is this? Ah Meow. It hurts so much. Covering his flushed face from being hit, he reached out to touch both sides and looked around before realizing what this is. I got injured again, Meow. Isn't this ultra-white glass? How could you lock me inside this glass cover? Sonins. Sure enough, Wang is in the same situation as Meow Meow. While roast, they ran wildly on the treadmill while enduring the pain of being punctured by a mace. When they wanted to run, they were blocked by glass. Musashi, Kojiro. You're going too far, Meow. Just as Zhu Zi was riding his bike and pedaling wildly, abandoning the positions of the rockets and a few others, he suddenly realized when he turned around. A new Pokémon was chasing a falling apple, and the red Pokémon, which had the same shape as an apple, finally intercepted the apple in the middle of the road. Just as the new Pokémon was about to feast on it, Zhu Zi couldn't dodge it but also avoided it. However, the apple was driven to pieces. For a moment, a sudden accident occurred, and as his beloved apple was crushed, the unknown Pokémon's eyes were empty and frozen in place. Zhu Zi and Pikachu were also startled by the Pokémon that had been killed halfway, and they fiercely hit the direction. The two of them, who had lost their balance, were thrown out and fiercely smashed their faces down towards the ground. Pickups. Pickups. Zhu Zi stood up and covered his face, which had turned red from the collision, while comforting Pikachu, who also had a flushed face, in pain. Sorry, Pikachu, I'm distracted. Are you okay? After pacifying Pikachu, Zhu Zi looked at the Pokémon and approached it. The Pokémon cried and sat on the ground, completely oblivious to approaching Zhu Zi and Pikachu. A big hand holding an orange fruit poked out from beside it, and its stomach let out a gurgling sound. The pondering unknown Pokémon was startled and jumped back, pulling back his stance. His eyes became fierce, and a fiery red flame was about to erupt from his mouth. I saw Zhu Zi approaching with a smile, not paying attention to the Pokémon's prepared attack, nor showing any intention of harming it, as he said. Sorry, little one, I crushed your red apple, but now I only have this blue-orange fruit in my backpack. Please don't mind. Pokémon, with fierce eyes, saw the sparkling orange fruit and his eyes became clear and bright. He immediately rushed forward and hugged the fruit tightly, with a happy smile on his face. Zhu Zi gently picked it up and placed it on the side of the road. Hurry up and leave, it's not safe here. There are bad people chasing after you from behind. As he spoke, he looked behind him. Nice to meet you, but it's not safe to be by my side. I have to leave now. Goodbye, Pokémon I haven't seen before. The Pokémon quietly listened to what Zhu Zi said. After speaking, Zhu Zi got up and ran towards the lying bicycle, helping it up. I found that the car seat had also fallen off and the handlebars were crooked. Pikachu jumped onto the basket and crushed it, only then did I realize that the basket was also broken. Oh, how can I compensate someone else for this? Forget it, Pikachu, jump onto my shoulder quickly. Unknown Pokémon watched as the two of them rode away, lost in thought, unaware even of the orange fruits rolling to the ground in their hands, staring blankly at them as they drifted away. At this moment, the robot behind him made a rumbling sound as it stepped on the ground, and the Pokémon finally came to his senses. He panicked and immediately ran behind a big tree. Damn little devil, don't run away. Watching the danger running by in front of him, the Pokémon timidly poked his head out from behind the big tree, worried about the little Wisdom and Pikachu who had just given him the fruit. Unknowingly, there was a new danger approaching behind him quietly. A Pokémon Wisdom swinging scarlet appeared behind it, along with a gray-haired trainer dressed in a left and right, orange on the left and purple on the right, shirt, dressed in strange attire. He held on to the iframe with one hand and muttered to himself. Stupid fire crocodile. Just right, it's perfect for use. Wisely wield the crimson, use your psychic power. Gonga. Lodom, do you know what Pokémon were just now? The screen on the Lodom phone is black and flickering, constantly popping up the dot logo. BB. No such treasure or dream found, BB. No such treasure or dream found. Great, we have really arrived in a nice area, full of new Pokémon that we haven't seen before. The rocket team powered by an internal treadmill and raced vigorously, approaching behind Ash and Pikachu. Whispering heavily, Meow Meow and Guoranweng spoke. Little ghost, I'm fighting with you. Saw. Nan. See, watching the threat pressing behind him step by step, Zhu Zi also stood and pedaled for a long time because the bicycle seat cushion had fallen off. His feet were weak, and his stamina was approaching the finish line. Pickups. Pikachu on his shoulder was also worried about Zhu Zi's physical problems, knowing that he was adding burden to Zhu Zi. It's okay, Pikachu. Can I hold on for a little longer? Do you see a square ahead? It's quite spacious. Come in, I hope there's Miss Junsa inside. Step back. Pikachu, how is your recovery? Pickup trucks. Pikachu perked up his energy, clenched his fists, and answered firmly. At the same time, the red cheeks on both sides squeezed out an electric light flow, indicating that Pikachu had accumulated enough physical strength. Well, Pikachu, we'll have to rely on your energy storage for a final blow. But this region is really strange. After leaving the Galar region, we lost the environment of extremely large particles, and I can understand why we can't extremely large. But for some reason, even the Z moves and Mega Evolution that are not limited by the region can't be used. My bracelet is useless. Speaking late, then fast. As more and more people passed by, more and more people noticed two giant robots rushing towards them, and the screams were incessant. Until Xiaoji rode his bike and made a sharp turn, both of them jumped off the bike and landed in the center of the square. The two giant robots that followed also stopped, and the rocket team's hot air balloon was hovering high in the air. Wow, huh. I can't run away, little devil. Hurry up and capture it with your hands. Damn the rockets. Xiaoji gritted his teeth and spoke fiercely. Musashi, Kojiro said to the walkie-talkie. Ready, meow meow, indeed Wang, prepare the engine's extremely powerful move to beat Little Ghost and Pikachu to pieces. At this moment, on the stairs leading up to a large church in the square, a woman with black fluffy hair, dressed in a high-end black custom-made uniform, and wearing purple patterned gloves walked slowly from top to bottom. What exactly is it that dares to disturb the peace of the Parthian region? After speaking, a mysterious spherical object in his hand shone brightly, and before the lady in a suit and leather shoes could make a move, a silver light similar to that in the woman's hand shone on Pikachu's head. So much so that this mysterious lady exclaimed in amazement that it was a masterpiece. What? Surprisingly. Pikachu, using 100,000 volts. Pickup trucks. The silver light above Pikachu's head gradually changed from its initial silver color to a golden one, and out of nowhere, a crystal with a blurry shape was generated, making it difficult to see the specifics. And Pikachu himself gradually became crystalline. What's wrong with you, Pikachu? How could it be like this? Xiaoji noticed a strange change in Pikachu's body and anxiously inquired about his physical condition. I saw Pikachu not paying any attention, his whole body and head gradually turning into crystals. Extreme attack. Extreme superpower. With Meow Meow's command, as expected, 2 white and 1 purple pillars of fire fell onto Pikachu's body. Pikachu, who had already been wrapped in crystals, refused to be outdone, shining with lightning like a dazzling sun, and launched a domineering attack. In an instant, the attacks on both sides collided fiercely, fighting each other and becoming deadlocked. The huge impact caused a hurricane to spread outward from their center, changing and affecting the strong winds that had already hit the area from all directions. The dust and wind make people unable to open their eyes. The girls covered the fluttering skirts. Lightly weighted Pokémon, such as shuttlecock grass and shuttlecock flowers, are blown up into the sky. Pickups. As Pikachu continued to exert his power, he took it to the next level and gradually couldn't suppress Pikachu's attack alone. Meow Meow and Guoran Wang both panicked. How could it be? Our robots that run out of work expenses, how could it be? Hold on, Meow Meow, sure man. I can't hold on anymore, Meow. Sonans. In the end, the last bit of energy was exhausted, and a crystal-like flicker of 100,000 volts poured out. A powerful and heavy beam of electric light rushed towards 2 giant robots, which were lifted up and collided with a hot air balloon in the air, accidentally rubbing against the spire at the top of the church. Leave a melodious sentence. What a disgusting feeling. Pikachu, who had lost his attack target, crystallized 100,000 volts and the attack was still ongoing. Sporadic electric sparks flying around splashed towards the crowd, causing them to flee one after another. At the same time, he also electrified the scattered bicycles lying on the ground into black charcoal. The broken tiles at the top of the tower were pouring down, and there were still many pedestrians and Pokémon who couldn't escape in time. They were curled up and sitting on the ground in fear. Wisely wield the crimson, use your imagination. At the brink of danger, the wise-wielding crimson trainer dressed in orange and purple clothes appeared here, controlling the falling building debris and slowly releasing it. The mental energy was activated and ended. Thank you, thank you. The people who were saved, thank him. The trainer nodded and smiled, then walked lightly to the mysterious lady on the steps and spoke. Chairman, the preliminary selection of Pokémon for new students is ready. Okay, Principal Clavier. However, did you see that boy and his Pikachu just now? I saw it, it's really unbelievable. Yeah, is he also a new student at our Orange Grape College? I don't know either, Chairman Yassi. After defeating the rockets, Pikachu's crystal mode was lifted and he returned to his usual state. Finally, his last bit of strength was exhausted and he fainted, unable to stand up. Pikachu. Pikachu. Anxious Xiaoji ran forward and picked up Pikachu who had fainted. Don't worry, I'll take you to the Pokémon Center right away. Just as Xiaoji stood up, a wave of dizziness hit him, and his eyes turned black. The long escape and continuous running and cycling caused Xiaoji's body to no longer support him, and he was about to faint at this moment. The two people who were originally discussing on the stairs had quietly approached Xiaoji and steadily caught him, who was about to fall. Looking at Xiaoji and Pikachu who had fainted, Principal Clavier said. Chairman Yisei, look. Yeah, even after fainting and losing consciousness, the trainer still didn't let go of his grip on Pikachu. Chapter 3. Orange Grape Academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pikachu. Don't leave me. Pikachu. Pikachu. Don't leave me, all of you. Xiaoji, who had been unconscious for a period of time, suddenly woke up and sat up in a daze amidst the sound of dream talk. Pikachu, Lucario, and the magic wall dolls surrounding him immediately rushed up. Pick up. Ouo. Moni. Pokémon are all worried about Xiaoji's physical condition. Pikachu, Lucario, the magic wall doll. You're all here, that's great. I had a nightmare just now, dreaming that all of you, everything I love deeply has left me. Pickup truck, Pikachu said as he climbed onto Xiaoji's body and rubbed his cheeks against her face. Lucario reached out and handed Xiaoji the sunshade hat he often wore. The magic wall figurine is doing a mime scene of wiping the glass out of thin air, making Xiaoji happy. Thank you for your encouragement. However, on the other hand, Xiaoji looked around and saw a small room, a single bed, a set of study tables and chairs, a wardrobe, a separate bathroom, which looked like a single-person dormitory. Looking at everything unfamiliar. Where is this? Pikachu. Pikachu shook his head, saying that he didn't know either. Looking at the other two Pokémon, they also shook their heads and didn't know. At this moment, the three Pokémon suddenly became alert and looked towards the room door. Suddenly, the room door was automatic and moved towards the wall. Outside, a lady with pink hair, wearing a white coat, and a stethoscope hanging from her chest entered. Without taking 2 steps into the room, I was startled by the 3 Pokémon in front of me who were in a combat state and screamed out loud. My legs almost collapsed and I sat on the ground, my knees slightly bent, and my arms blocked in front of me, saying, "Stop, stop. I'm not a bad person, I'm here to see how your injuries are recovering." Lucario and the magic wall doll standing at the front looked at each other sideways. Xiaoji also reached out his hand and stopped them. Stop it, don't launch an attack." The 2 Pokémon who tightened their shoulders finally relaxed. The lady who entered the room saw that the Pokémon had released their attack state, so she no longer felt afraid and returned to her normal standing position. After taking a deep breath, she said, "Ha! Hello, I'm Mimosa, the medical room teacher of this college, mainly responsible for treating and recovering students and Pokémon's accidental injuries. Let's see how you're recovering. After listening, Xiaoji showed a grateful smile. Thank you so much. I'm Xiaoji from Jinshin Town. This is Pikachu, along with Lucario and the Magic Wall doll. Thank you for bringing us here for treatment. We feel much better now. It's okay, this is my responsibility, but you're not brought by me. You're brought by the chairman and president of our college. Also, where is Jinshin Town? It doesn't seem like it's from our place. But since you're brought by both of them, I think you're the new student who enrolled. Xiaoji was a bit confused and murmured softly. College. New students. Seeing no response from Xiaoji, Mimosa said. Since your injuries are okay now, I'll take you to the principal's office. As he spoke, he led Xiaoji and the others out of the dormitory door. Xiaoji first took the other two Pokémon back to the Pokémon Ball and followed them out with Pikachu alone. Encountering other students on the road, they joked. Mo Zhu Zi. Upon hearing this title, Mimosa, who was originally speaking softly, instantly became furious and spoke fiercely. Damn it, how can I deal with you when I catch you? The students who were running to catch up and pranked, then ran away. Xiaoji and his companions also chased after Mimosa who had run away. In no time, Xiaoji, who was unfamiliar with the place, got lost. In the vast campus, wandering aimlessly and aimlessly. Should it be here? Pikachu. Or this way? Pikachu. Pickup truck. Pickup truck. Seeing a door that looked like he had just left the dormitory, Xiaoji leaned forward. Why did you come back again? Forget it, I think I should go back to my original position and wait for Miss Mimosa to come back. Pointing randomly at the electronic screen outside the door, Xiaoji accidentally opened it, only smelling the delicious fragrance of spices. Xiaoji and Pikachu enjoyed it for a while, closed their eyes tightly, and unconsciously were attracted by the enticing smells that came into the room. Hello, may I ask who you are? In the room filled with the fragrance of spices, a voice of inquiry shattered the floating two. Hello, may I ask who you are? Xiaoji, who had come to his senses, asked with embarrassment. Oh, this is a room. I thought it was a cafeteria, so fragrant. Haha, thank you for the compliment, but this is my dormitory. Xiaoji finally saw clearly that the person across from him was a boy wearing a white shirt, a purple tie, a yellow jacket, purple pants, and a drooping bangs that covered his right eye. I think I'm lost. I need to go to the principal's office. Oh, then you should go like this. Speaking, he led Xiaoji out of the door. You need to leave the hallway first, go downstairs, leave the student dormitory area, walk around to the main building in front, enter the lobby, and up to the 5th floor is the principal's office. I originally wanted to help take you there, but now I have inspiration to perfect the sandwich dish that restores the vitality of Pokémon. Therefore, I cannot take you there. Please forgive me. Xiaoji, who left the door to continue searching for his destination, exclaimed with emotion. Pikachu, that guy just now is really gentle and loves cooking. If Xiaojiang and Dante were here, they should be good friends. Oh no, I forgot to ask him what his name is. Forget it, they're all in this college. Goodbye by chance. The lobby that must be passed by on the way to the destination. Oh, I forgot which floor he said it was from, the 4th or the 5th floor. Just as Xiaoji was lost, a woman with gray hair and dark skin appeared and asked. Classmate, may I ask who you're looking for? Xiaoji turned around and said awkwardly. Oh, hello auntie. I'm not a student here, but I need to go to the principal's office. No wonder you're not wearing our college uniform. It turns out you're a freshman. Do you have a Lodem phone with you? Yes, I have. Speaking, Xiaoji took out his phone from his pocket and handed it to her. After receiving the phone, he paused and operated. "Oh my, classmate. Your Lodem phone doesn't belong to our college, it doesn't have an in-school navigation system. Come with me, I'll take you to the principal's office." Leading Xiaoji upstairs, he introduced the high-tech equipment in the college while speaking. "Classmate, after enrollment, each new student will be assigned their own college Lodem phone, which comes with a navigation map inside the college. For new students, it is not easy for such a large college to understand every part of this place, but they will gradually become familiar with it. However, every entrance here has an electronic screen attached, which also has a directional function, suitable for foreign tourists' use." Unconsciously, while introducing himself, he arrived at the entrance of the principal's office and lightly knocked on the door. A sound came from inside the room. "Please come in." Pushing open the door, I saw Clavier and Yasi, who had previously helped Xiaoji, waiting inside the room. "Principal and Chairman, I have brought the new students over." Chairman Yasi replied. "Okay, Teacher Tim, thank you." Principal Clavier also stood up. "Strange. How do I remember it should have been Dr. Mimosa bringing someone here? Why is it missing? Then I'll go out first." Shortly after Tam left and closed the door of the principal's office, the door was once again recklessly knocked open. A panting woman was Mimosa, and she also brought another young girl over. The girl was also dragged by her and ran over, panting heavily. "Hey! Hey! Principal, Chairman. I accidentally lost Xiaoji, who had just finished treating his injury." "Hey!" Speaking of seeing Xiaoji who had already arrived, Xiaoji also gave Mimosa an awkward smile. Xiaoji. Why did you come first? The principal is giving a speech." "Dr. Mimosa, how did you instruct you to bring a sober young man over, but you brought a young girl?" "School. Principal, it's like this." After explaining Xiaoji's matter, Blackwell said, not very satisfied. "This won't work, Mimosa. How can we trust your teacher application like this?" After hearing this, Mimosa lowered her head in shame and kindly intervened. "Don't say that, Blackwell. It sounds like Mimosa and her college classmates are getting along quite happily." After speaking, he gave a slight smile to Mimosa. "Oh, it's you. So it's you, where's my bike?" Xiaoji recognized the girl who came in, and the girl also recognized him. The girl was the owner who had borrowed a bicycle from the roadside when he ran away before. Xiaoji apologizes. "I'm sorry, I can't repay you with my bicycle because I've already." "How could?" Blackwell interrupted their conversation. "How? You know each other. Mimosa, let's introduce ourselves to each other." The wilting Mimosa was startled and quickly entered a state of introduction. Okay. Xiaoji, Xiaoqing, let me introduce you to the school leaders. Principal Blackwell and Chairman Yasi, here is the new student Xiaoqing, and Xiaoji. Oh, why are there two new students here? How come I only heard of one person? Well, yes, since Xiaoqing is the new student who should be here today, how did you get here, Xiaoji? Xiaoji replied awkwardly. Sorry, I didn't know where this was from beginning to end. I was chased by the rockets and accidentally came here. Oh, it's like this. I had previously agreed with the new students online to complete the enrollment procedures at 9 o'clock this morning. As the time approached, I almost couldn't make it. Finally, I gathered all the beginners' Pokémon, and when I arrived at the agreed square, I thought Xiaoji was the new student. So Xiaoqing was late. No, I'm sorry, I was late. I shouldn't have been late before, but... As he spoke, he lowered his head and glanced at Xiaoji who was standing beside him. Xiaoji also apologized with embarrassed hands and 10. Refers to being ridden by Xiaoji before, which caused Xiaoqing to walk on foot, resulting in being late. You also spoke kindly. Isn't that great? Fate brought us together. Do you have any other places to go, Zhu Zi? I don't have any at the moment, and I'm also running away. No, I don't have any place to go at the moment, but I have a question to ask. Is it suitable? You say it, Zhu Zi, don't be constrained. Zhu Zi then asked cautiously. Excuse me, do you all know me? Upon hearing Zhu Zi's question, everyone was confused and expressed their concerns. No, I don't know. I don't know either. Shaking their heads one after another to show that they didn't know each other, Zhu Zi fell into contemplation and thought to himself. Strange. Since I defeated Mr. Dondi and won the championship, news of the new king has been rampant, even in my hometown of Jinshin town. As the saying goes, people fear fame and pigs fear strength. I can be recognized anywhere I go now. Why doesn't everyone in this place seem to have heard of it? Excuse me, do you know Mr. Dondi? I also answered with kindness. Dondi. I know him. A year ago, he went out to sea and I heard that he is the king of the world championship outside. So why? Zhu Zi didn't understand and quickly asked. Do you know who the current king is? Has there been a change of ownership? Speaking of which, it's not very clear. Due to the influence of a mysterious magnetic field in our region. The Parthian region. Information from external electromagnetic sources will be interfered with when entering. As for the new qualifying competition, which is already halfway through, we in Parthia will only receive this news. Otherwise, I also went to participate. As for the current king, it should still be Mr. Dondi, but if I had known earlier and signed up to participate, the position of the king would have been hard to say. Upon hearing this, Zhu Zi suddenly realized that he didn't know the people here and that when he used to communicate with Mr. Dondi on the phone, the signal became worse as he moved inland. All the explanations made sense. How to say it? Zhu Zi. Blackwell interrupted the pondering little wit. Zhu Zi, what do you say? When I entered this region, I was already deeply attracted by the local culture and the new Pokémon that I had never seen before. That's it, let's continue with the process that was supposed to be carried out. After speaking, he led everyone out the door, and finally only Zhu Zi, Xiaoqing, and Blackwell arrived at the Academy Square where they had just fought against Pokémon. Watching only 3 people left, Zhu Zi asked Blackwell. What about President Blackwell, Medical Director Mimosa, and Director Yasi? They have their own job to do, one to go back to the school clinic and the other to go back to the Parthian Alliance. The Parthian League. So, will there also be a chance to hold a league competition here? That's for sure. Although we are relatively closed to external information here, we won't miss out on the necessary racing equipment in the Parthian region either. That's great. By the way, did you say that Chairman Yesi is going to the Parthian Alliance? Yeah, besides being the chairman of the college, Yesi's colleague is also the chief champion of the Parthian League. Upon hearing this, Zhu Zi recalled her words of kindness earlier. No wonder she had just said that if she participated in the competition, the king might change hands. Even more excited, my blood boiled. I couldn't wait to rub my hands and compete with the trainers in the area one by one. Cough. Alright, to get to the point, let's proceed with the normal admission process now. Blackwell said, throwing 3 Pokémon balls backwards, and then turned to speak to Zhu Zi and Xiaoqing. Welcome to Orange Grape Academy. Chapter 4. Preliminary Selection of 3 Imperial Schools. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Looking at the 3 new Pokémon that he had never seen before, Zhu Zi's eyes lit up and he stared straight at them, unable to even hear what Blackwell was saying immediately after. Zhu Zi eagerly opened his own Lotum phone, only to see that the screen of the phone was still black and flashing, and the sign kept flashing. Ha ha ha. Zhu Zi, you can't find the Pokémon guide with the Lotum phone you brought from outside. I don't think there is any information about the Pokémon in the Parthia region outside yet. You need to use our own Lotum phone within our college to find it. Speaking, he took out 2 phones, one red and one pink, and handed them to each of them. Xiaozhi couldn't wait to use his new phone to scan and look up the information in the picture book, while Xiaoqin leaned down to carefully examine the Imperial family. At this point, the picture book information on the phone finally has content. New leaf cat, grass attribute grass cat Pokémon. The furry body hair has plant-like components that absorb sunlight to create energy. Runshui duck, water attribute little duck Pokémon. With a blue feather-shaped airplane nose, a serious and stubborn personality, loves cleanliness, and hates getting his head dirty. Stupid fire crocodile, fire attribute fire crocodile Pokémon leisurely and free-spirited. It loves to eat very much, and once it discovers food, it will run towards it with its eyes lit up. Listening to the picture book introduction on Xiaozhi's phone, Xiaoqin happened to be holding a silly fire crocodile and exclaimed in surprise. What? Fire attribute. Turning his head to look at the bewildered fire crocodile in his hand, he didn't know why he suddenly came here in the wild. He accidentally sneezed and sparks flew out of his nostrils. Startled, Xiaoqin crouched down and fell to the ground, throwing the lifeless crocodile in her hand high into the air. Finally, it fell onto Xiaozhi's head, and the fire crocodile shook its head and looked down. Xiaozhi also happened to look up, and the two of them met and recognized each other. Xiaozhi was overjoyed. How could it be you? So you're called the stupid fire crocodile. I saw the Danhua crocodile also shaking its head and head with joy, and then biting Xiaozhi's hat and head with its mouth. Xiaozhi felt a pang of pain and embarrassment, and touched the bag behind him. This is an orange fruit for you. I just brought 2 of them, so I'll give them to you. The fire crocodile's eyes lit up again, and it released its bite on Xiaozhi's head. It reached out to reach for the orange fruit in Xiaozhi's hand, but accidentally the fruit rolled off. The fire crocodile also jumped off Xiaozhi's head and ran out to pick it up. Oh! Xiaoqin felt a tingling fear and trembled all over, saying, Fire. Fire attribute Pokémon, I have no other choice but to. Then he continued to choose the right Pokémon for himself, crouched in front of the Runshui duck, reached out and touched its head, muttering. Runshui duck. I saw Xiaozhi reaching out to stop the road. Ah! I remember the picture book said, Runshui duck hates. At that moment, Runshui duck sprayed a water gun on Xiaoqing's face, feeling embarrassed. On the other hand, Runshui duck used his wings to comb his messy hairstyle. Xiaoqing wiped away the water stains on her face and could only place her hope on the last Pokémon. She nervously picked up the new leaf cat, turned her face to one side, closed her eyes tightly and dared not look. Gradually, he carefully turned his head to the right angle and opened his eyes little by little. He saw the new leaf cat obediently looking at Xiaoqing, meowing and gently rubbing his face against her. Xiaoqing blushed and felt a burst of happiness, tightly embracing the new leaf cat in her hand. Xiaozhi, on the other hand, was worried about the foolish fire crocodile running out, so he followed closely. I saw the Danhua crocodile under the nearby street lamp, finally intercepting the rolling orange fruit and opening its mouth to bite. Due to the immaturity of this orange fruit, the teeth of the fire crocodile were painful to bite, causing a brief period of crying while looking up at the sky. I suddenly thought of a good idea and sprayed sparks in my mouth to induce ripening. It seems that I am not very good at controlling my firepower, so I accidentally burned the orange fruit into black charcoal. Caught in another blow, with blank eyes. At this moment, a girl appeared behind the street lamp, wearing a white shirt, orange tie, orange shorts, gloves and wrist guards on one hand on the right, with a high ponytail tied to her head, 2 strands of green bangs, a crossbody bag, and a sleeve badge with the Student Union logo on the shirt sleeve. She was also surrounded by an orange Lotum phone. I saw her pick up the Danhua crocodile with one hand, and the Danhua crocodile, due to the heavy blow, was quietly at the mercy of others. The 2 of them walked towards this side. Before Xiaozhi could speak, the girl spoke first. Ah! I know you, aren't you the owner of Pikachu who fought against a large robot this morning? I also want to ask what's going on with your Pikachu's crystallization. 2. Too crystalline. As Zhu Zi spoke in confusion, the two of them chatted and walked towards the previous place to gather. After coming over, the woman greeted Lackwell. Let me introduce you. This is Nemo, a student who enrolled a year earlier than you. Previously, due to being busy with student council work, she gave up the opportunity to become a Pokémon trainer last year. But now, Nemo gestured, took Lackwell's words, and said, now I have sorted out the mess left by the former president of the student union, and now I have become the new president of the student union. I have time to come out and strive to become a new Pokémon trainer. So, Zhu Zi, I will become your strong opponent. Okay, of course I'll accompany you until the end. But since we've only met for the first time, why are you already a strong enemy of me? That's not because you have become a celebrity in our area. Your strange and overly crystalline Pikachu is a hot topic in our mouths. Lackwell stood up and said. Alright, let's stop here. I think your homeroom teacher, Teacher Virginia, will tell you about the basic knowledge of crystallization. As for the strange crystallization that does not belong to any property, it still needs to be studied. If only those two Pokemon doctors and their wife were together, it would be great. It has been 10 years. As Lackwell spoke, his volume gradually decreased and he began to mutter to himself. After a while, he shook his head, helped the eyeglass frame, and continued speaking. Xiaoqing and Nemo, who haven't had any Pokémon yet, have you selected your initial Pokémon yet? Xiaoqing hugged the new leaf cat and couldn't put it down. I chose this child. Nemo, on the other hand, lifted her arm while holding the lifeless crocodile. As for me, let's choose this child. Subsequently, the two took the elf ball belonging to them from Lackwell's hand. Please give me more guidance. Xiaoqing gently subdued the new leaf cat in her arms, and Nemo also took back the dumb fire crocodile in her hand. The dumb fire crocodile, surrounded by the red light, finally reacted and panicked, still looking at Zhu Zi with reluctance. Lackwell, who took out the last Pokéball, looked at the moist duck still combing his hair and said in his mouth. Hey, it's you, Run Shui Duck, once again failed. I hope the next trainer can choose you. Run Shui Duck returned to the Pokémon ball with a proud and coquettish expression. Then he spoke to Zhu Zi and Xiaoqing. Alright, I think you already have a route map to your respective dormitories on your phone. You need to wear a uniform inside the college, but of course, you don't need to wear a full set. As long as there is a part that belongs to the campus, it can be distinguished whether it is an on-campus or off-campus personnel. The color scheme of the male uniform is purple-white, and the color scheme of the female uniform is orange-white, which is the same as the color scheme of the left and right sides of this garment on me, as well as the color scheme of the elf ball decoration on the college building turning around to show everyone, the teaching building resembling a church-like college, except that whoever broke the spire was assumed to have scaffolding on it. The construction workers and Pokémon were working hard to repair it. Zhu Zi lowered his head and sweated when he saw it, trembling as he spoke. Is this really? This is the scene that Lackwell least wants to see. He covered his face with one hand and helped his glasses, patiently speaking. Yes, it was accidentally damaged during a battle between your Pikachu and robots this morning. Xiaoqing was also surprised when she saw it and said. Wow! What did you guys do? I missed it. Zhu Zi bowed deeply. I'm sorry, Principal Lackwell. We didn't mean to. Pikachu was a bit out of control that time, and... Speaking, Zhu Zi immediately turned around and bowed deeply to Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing was also startled by this posture. Miss Xiaoqing, as for your bicycle, it was also charred by Pikachu's 100,000 volts in that runaway. I'm sorry. Pikachu, you should apologize to both of them quickly. Speaking, he patted Pikachu on his shoulder with his hand, and he immediately jumped down to learn from Zhu Zi's apology, bowing desperately. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I will definitely compensate you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Xiaoqing felt a little embarrassed and quickly waved her hand to indicate. It's okay, the starting point of the problem is those two robots, which are the ghosts caused by the rockets, right? You don't have to worry about it, as long as my camera is fine, you don't have to worry about the bicycle. I agree that all the problems arose with the rocket's overall destruction, and the act of snatching someone else's Pokémon was inherently wrong. However, on the other hand, your Pikachu is indeed of great research value. Blackwell said, his face slightly gloomy, his glasses reflective and unable to see his expression clearly. Pikachu was also frightened when he saw it. I can't blame you. I just have a heartless request, I hope you can agree. You said, Mr. President, as long as I can help the college. I'm sorry to bring it up. Although the cultivation work in the college's teaching building is not a problem, the robot debris that flew over the air happened to smash the dormitories of the cleaning staff in the student dormitory area. During the repair period, I have temporarily taken a break for the employees inside. I have seen that the magic wall dolls around you are skilled at household chores, and I hope you and your Pokémon can understand. Of course, Mr. Principal, there are also some issues related to our cause and effect here. As he spoke, he opened the elf ball belonging to the magic wall doll. Magic wall doll, you heard me too, are you willing? Moni, after coming out, it nodded in agreement. After explaining, each other left separately, and Xiaoji was also pondering over a new Lotum phone. Looking at the new features on it that he had never used before, he felt a bit confused. He followed the navigation to the door of a room in the student dormitory area. It should be here, this door looks a bit like. Oh, why can't I open it? Under Xiaoji's random press, the door of this room was unexpectedly opened by Xiaoji again. The interior of the dormitory seems to be the same, except that there is a young girl's back, facing Xiaoji, putting on clothes inside the room. Ah, miss, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But why are you in my room? The door of the room that was closed by Xiaoji was once again opened, and a girl wearing a dark gray hoodie, round-framed glasses, red and blue hair, and carrying an IB backpack on her back walked out with a blush on her face, calmly speaking. Upon closer inspection, the color of the door frame stripes on this door is orange, not purple. This is the girls' dormitory, while the boys' dormitory is located in the building on the other side. After speaking, Xiaoji left here and bowed deeply behind him. I'm sorry, and thank you for guiding me. Xiaoji and Pikachu discussed while searching for their dormitory room. Pikachu, we ran out of someone else's room again. But why is that girl not wearing any school uniform at all? Isn't it possible that she's not a student of this college? After a while, I finally returned to my own room and dormitory. This time, there was no need to press randomly. My phone screen scanned the screen outside the door and opened it. Entering the familiar environment and seeing the wrinkles on the bedding when getting up on the bed, it is certain that it is the place where I came out earlier. Strange, I didn't find a uniform when I went out. Oh, here it is. I opened the wardrobe door and found that my uniform was right inside. I looked left and right, matching it with my existing clothes. Whether it was a unisex white shirt as a base, purple shorts, purple tie, or wearing a blue jacket that I brought with me, I looked at the white sun hat that belonged to the men's uniform and placed it inside the wardrobe. The duckbill cap on my head moved left and right, straightened it out. Looking at myself in the mirror inside the wardrobe, I finally decided on my dressing style. I thought to myself, it's best to adventure freely everywhere, to see various landforms, local customs, meet different people, and make friends with unfamiliar Pokémon. I must travel and adventure here, participate in league competitions, and fulfill my wish to become a Pokémon master. Thinking of this, I looked at myself in the mirror with a smile on my face, and Pikachu cast a determined gaze on one side. A new journey was about to begin. As Xiaoji was caught up in his longing for the future, 3 figures peeked out of the window in a sneaky manner. The despicable little ghost has actually destroyed the extremely large robot we have finally built. Musashi whispered, his teeth itching with anger. It turned out to be the rockets. So we're going back to a life of poverty again. That's it, meow. Speaking, Meow Meow and Kojiro hugged their heads and cried bitterly. The Sure Lord in the elf ball also came uninvited and suddenly appeared, unaware of it, shouting loudly. Sonins. The other 3 people raised their index fingers in front of their lips and made a shush sound in their mouths, indicating that Guoran Wang should not make any noise. Xiaoji in the room suddenly walked to the window, and the 4 people outside quickly hid, afraid that their whereabouts would be exposed. I saw Xiaoji just come over and pick up the phone on the desk in front of the window. Originally, it was just a phone ringing, and the rockets had a false alarm. Xiaoji picked up and checked, and it was displayed on the screen. New students, please go to class 1.A in the main building of the teaching area and prepare for class. Virginia homeroom teacher. And it comes with a campus navigation map to the classroom. After reading, Xiaoji picked up his backpack and walked outside with Pikachu. Let's go Pikachu, go to school. Chapter 5. Parthia Region. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With the guidance of the navigation, I walked out of the room door and a familiar figure was busy at the end of the corridor. Take a closer look. Magic wall dolls. Pickups. Speaking, Xiaoji and Pikachu rushed over frantically. As the figure turned, it was indeed a magic wall doll wrapped in an apron, cleaning the hallway of the student dormitory area. The magic wall doll, who turned around, was also overjoyed and welcomed Xiaoji and the others in their direction. Moni. Moni. After the reunion, the few people chatted with each other. Magic wall doll, I'm sorry, I've been running around with us since the Galar region, busy inside and outside. Even if we reach the Parthian region, you still have to work to make amends for the mistakes made by me and Pikachu. I saw that the magic wall doll did not feel any discomfort. Instead, he raised his hand to show off his biceps, patted his chest, and held the broom in his hand. His footsteps turned slightly briskly in circles. Moni, Moni. Showcasing oneself to Xiaoji and others, expressing that there is no discomfort, on the contrary, it has become more comfortable. Still staring out the window at Xiaoji and their every move, the rockets looked at everything and Meow Meow's eyes tearfully said. The magic wall doll is really a good guy, dedicating himself to his friends. Yeah, you're such a man. Sonins. Kojiro and Karan Ong also strongly agreed and burst into tears. Only Musashi said coldly on the side. What a bunch of fools. Leaving the dormitory building, walking towards the direction of the teaching building, looking down at the map. Accidentally, they collided with a person across from them and fell to the ground, covering their foreheads and groaning in pain. It was no one else who collided with Xiaoji. It was Xiaoqing who had just broken up. She was also wearing a white shirt representing the college, an orange skirt, an orange tie, and a dark blue sunshade hat belonging to the women's uniform on her head. She tied a fried dough twists braid on one side of her head, and the camera on her neck was inseparable. Pikachu looked at the 2 people sitting on the ground, flustered and unsure of who to comfort, pacing left and right. Xiaoji opened a tearful eye and saw that the person he bumped into was Xiaoqing. He slowly stood up, supported his forehead with one hand, and handed it out with the other, asking. Xiaoqing, are you okay? Upon hearing the sound, Xiaoqing slowly opened her eyes and realized it was Xiaoji, who was also in the same posture. She covered her forehead while also handing out her hand. I met you again, Xiaoji. After standing up, the 2 of them felt a slight relief in pain and patted the dust on each other's bodies. Xiaoji was the first to answer. What a coincidence, we met again. Sorry, I was busy looking at the navigation on my phone just now and didn't notice you. It's okay, actually I didn't think it over and just kept looking at my phone. Yeah, the new place, the new Lodem phone, I haven't figured it out yet. Xiaoqing, are you also going to the classroom? Yeah, I just can't understand it. I'm not familiar with the place of life. What number of classrooms are you going to? Xiaoqing clicked on her phone and flipped through the information on it for Xiaoji to see. Xiaoji looked at it and said happily. I'm also from class 1A, let's go together. Accompanied by Xiaoqing, we wandered around and finally found a common destination. Pushing the door open and entering, there were already many classmates playing and laughing inside. Everyone looked at each other when they saw the two unfamiliar faces entering. Seeing this posture, Xiaoqing stood still and dared not make any moves. On the other hand, Xiaoji ran up to the podium, confidently and loudly speaking. Hello everyone, I am Xiaoji from Jinshin Town. My dream is to become a Pokémon master. Starting today, I will be a member of this class. Please give me more guidance. After speaking, looking at Xiaoqing on the side, Xiaoqing immediately received Xiaoji's signal and looked down at everyone below. It was difficult to get off, but he also bravely climbed onto the podium. Hello, I'm Xiaoqing from Zhipi Town. Please give me some guidance. There are many discussions below, and some can be heard. I know Zhipi, where is Jinshin Town? Outsiders. That Pikachu. By the way, they're just. It seems like a trainer who used to fight against big robots in the square. What's wrong with that Too Crystallized? There were constant voices of communication, but it was unexpected that Xiaoji and Pikachu had already caused a considerable sensation within the college before they even enrolled, becoming topic figures. At this moment, another man came in, dressed in a white coat, wearing slippers, lined with a purple top and purple pants. One side of the pants rolled up, and the fabric on one side of the knee was torn. He had disheveled purple hair, black round framed glasses in his eyes, and books everywhere in his hands and coat pockets. He was drowsy and didn't know how long he had stayed up late. He grabbed his hair on the other side, looking a bit messy, and said. It seems that our new classmates have already finished introducing themselves. Speaking to Xiaoji and Xiaoqing on stage again. Hello, my name is Virginia and I am responsible for teaching biology and also serving as the homeroom teacher for class 1A. Please go down and find a seat to sit down. I am now ready for class. There was another familiar figure standing up and waving at the two people on stage. After seeing it clearly, she noticed that it was Nemo who had previously selected the primary Pokémon together. As I approached, I could hear her clearly. It's a coincidence that we've met again. We're still classmates from the same class. There's a seat available here, so please sit next to me. As Nemo spoke, she raised her fingers to the two seats next to her in the last row by the window. Xiaoji sat by the window, while Xiaoqing sat in a seat 1 seat away from the window. The positions of these three people were all the same desk mate in the last row. Sit down well. Through a passage, Nemo asked Xiaoqing next to her. Xiaoqing. Previously, we only talked about our daily routine with Xiaoji. I didn't expect that we were from the same small town, and I also come from Zhipi Town. Xiaoqing turned her face and said to Nemo next to her. I see, please take good care of me. Virginia knocked on the blackboard on the podium and said. Everyone be quiet, class is now starting. Speaking, he turned around and wrote 5 big characters on the blackboard behind him. Parthia region. Cough. With a clear cough, Virginia turned around. This is our topic for today's class. I learned from the classroom that the Parthia region is an independent island with a large area that can be divided into 4 regions. East, South, West, and North. Each region has a lighthouse overlooking the Parthia Sea. The most interesting thing is that overseas, the 4 seasons deer and sprout deer have distinct morphological changes in different seasons. At the same time, various regions of Parthia exhibit different patterns, which may be related to the temperatures in the southern part of Parthia approaching spring, in the eastern part approaching summer, in the western part approaching autumn, and in the northern part of the frosty mountains approaching winter. Small, it can be divided into 6 districts in the south, 3 districts in the east, 3 districts in the west, and 3 districts in the north, with a total of 15 districts. Among them, there are towns and cities of different sizes, different natural landscapes, such as forests, caves, deserts, lakes, bays, snow-capped mountains, and the most central Parthian giant pit. The Great Pit is a central basin in the Parthian region surrounded by steep mountain ranges. People have believed since ancient times that the treasures buried deep in the Great Pit are precious, but only a few have ventured into it. The Parthian crater formed as early as 1 million years ago, but the reason for its formation is a mystery regarding the specific history of this giant crater. Virginia will not provide much explanation, and the subject will be taught by the history teacher, Professor Lihos. Compared to the present and future, she prefers the past and therefore dislikes modern history because there is no room for imagination that can arouse her curiosity. So in addition to Virginia's usual focus on biology, he also talks about some modern history, such as the establishment of the college. Orange Grape College is an ancient school in the Parthian region, founded 805 years ago, located in the city of Table Terrace. The school emblem and uniform are divided into orange and purple, with orange for girls and purple for boys, so our college is a mixed-gender school. As one of the few ancient schools in the world, it welcomes people of all kinds from various regions to study, learn from each other, engage in Pokémon battles, and exchange ideas. There is no age limit for enrollment in this school, and the age range of students is quite wide, from children to adults, all studying here, and almost all courses are related to Pokémon. Some of these courses seem to be able to be taught together with Pokémon. There are mathematics, history, domestic economics, biology, art, linguistics, and war studies. The most distinctive among them is off-campus research with the theme of treasure hunting. Adventure freely in the Parthian region, embark on a treasure hunt journey, and discover treasures that belong only to oneself through encounters and experiences. Upon hearing this, Zhu Zi's eyes lit up and he couldn't help but stand up and shout. "Great, when can we go on an adventure? Pickup trucks. Yeah, I also hope to be able to do it earlier." Nemo couldn't bear it anymore and stood up to shout. Virginia said calmly. "New and old students over there, as well as Pokémon, please stay calm. When your studies come to an end, we will arrange for everyone to go on adventures and treasure hunting. Now, please listen carefully to the class." The whole class burst into laughter, but Zhu Zi, Pikachu, and Nemo didn't take it seriously, except that Xiaoqing, who was sitting in the middle of them, couldn't lift his head. In addition to appealing to off-campus topics, 2 new regional competitions have been specially established this year, namely the cooking competition hosted by our school's home economics teacher Severo and the owner of the Round Model Road Museum, Afeng, a photography competition hosted by our school's art teacher Ba Shoa and the owner of the Shenbua Daoguan Museum, Ko Sha. Photography. This time it was Xiaoqing's turn to get excited, and besides that, there were 2 people in the hallway who were interested. Cooking competitions, my childhood dream was to become a dessert chef. Photography. When I was a child, many photography magazines had works that I submitted to. Musashi and Kojiro were already so beautiful that they were overjoyed. Meow Meow looked at these 2 people, hating that their iron was not strong enough. He used a crazy scratching technique on them, and the 2 who were scratched with flower faces covered their faces in pain. Have you forgotten our original intention? You're so beautiful now. That's right, but I don't think it will delay either. Kojiro covered his face and stood up, saying. That being said, don't scratch the face of the flower actress. Musashi, with his face covered in scratches, tightly gripped Meow's neck with both hands, causing Meow's face to turn blue and purple. In no time, the 3 of them picked themselves up again and reached an agreement. Meow Meow spoke again. Watch it, I'll count 3. While the little devil's attention is focused in class, we'll immediately break in and use the anti-electric capture net to catch Pikachu. Yes. 1, 2. Are you 3? A sudden sound interrupted Meow's counting, and the Rockets were furious and turned their heads. Who is it? I saw Principal Lackwell standing behind them, along with Pokémon Wisdom wielding his crimson and terrifying teapots to his left and right. Lackwell's glasses reflected light and he spoke solemnly from a high position. You were the rocket team that drove robots and destroyed the school building that day. As they are easily disguised to monitor Zhu Zi, just casually say. No, you misunderstood. We were visitors from outside the school. I saw Lackwell holding his glasses and continuing to speak. I'm not blind. These are reading glasses. I can see them clearly from any distance. I want you to pay for the damage one by one. Zhu Zi and Jisai who approached with a gloomy expression on their faces, and indeed one appeared once again out of place. Don't do it. Sonins. Lackwell's 2 Pokémon, one controlling the rocket with their own spirit, left here together. The Rockets, whose bodies were under control, still spoke vaguely. What a disgusting feeling. Returning to the classroom, Virginia explained. Regarding the newly added cooking and photography competitions, the specific schedule will still be announced within the alliance. Zhu Zi felt bored and drowsy about things unrelated to combat. He yawned heavily and turned his head to look out the window. Outside the window was an outdoor class of a class, where a teacher dressed up and 2 uniformed students were playing a 1-on-1 doubles match. The 4 new Pokémon sent out by the 3 were all new Pokémon that Zhu Zi had never seen before. The teacher dispatched 2 Pokémon similar to Kentaro, but with black fur. One used a flame move and the other used a water system, causing the 2 students who had an advantage to fall into the water. Zhu Zi enjoyed it to the fullest, but accidentally muttered more and more loudly in his mouth. Okay, that's it. Come on, come on. The intense voice caught the attention of the classmates in the class. Cough. Virginia once again reminded classroom discipline, saying. That's a battle class, and you will also have the opportunity to take it. First, study theoretical knowledge well, and then start practical classes later. Classmates, please come back and continue to listen attentively. Nemo bypassed Xiaoqing in the middle and spoke to Xiaoji by the window. That's Huang Bo, who teaches combat courses, and it's also my favorite subject. I think this one is the most interesting. Zhu Zi replied. I think so too. Virginia, who was repeatedly interrupted in teaching, said angrily. Don't disturb classroom discipline anymore, Zhu Zi and Xiaoqing. What? It's not me. Xiaoqing said with a dejected face, feeling aggrieved. The initiator of this incident, Nemo, pretended not to be involved and whistled on the side. This caused a lot of laughter in the class. Chapter 6. Distant History and Tai Jing Zhu. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wow huh. I finally won the championship in the Parthian region. I saw Xiaoji and Pikachu on the podium now, holding on to the Parthian League Championship trophy handed over by Principal Lackwell with both hands. Many trainers who had been defeated by them, including Nemo and Chairman Yassi, were giving them sincere applause, Moni, Moni. Amidst the shouts of the magic wall dolls, Zhu Zi and Pikachu were awakened from their sleep. It turned out that the scene of winning the championship just now was just a beautiful dream for them. Good morning, magic wall doll. What's wrong? Zhu Zi rubbed his sleepy eyes and asked. Moni, Moni. I saw the magic wall doll anxiously saying something, while pointing to the broken alarm clock lying on the ground. What? Why did the alarm clock break? It can be imagined that Xiaoji heard the alarm clock ring in his sleep and instinctively stopped it. What time is it now? The magic wall doll stretched out 10 fingers. Zhu Zi immediately got out of bed, dressed neatly, and ran out of the house with Pikachu. A smoke and dust rose, leaving only the closed dormitory door and the magic wall doll coughing from the smoke and dust. Not long after leaving the dormitory door, a sharp turn collided with a person coming towards them, causing both sides to fall to the ground. Sitting on the ground for a moment, I took a moment to relax. Before the stars could clear my eyes, my nose caught a whiff of the fragrance of spices. It was only then that I realized the person colliding was the Spice Man who had entered someone else's dormitory door by mistake before. Zhu Zi spoke up first. "It's you, so you live next door to me." "Oh, I remember you, you were the person back then." Both sides stood up. "Hello, I am Zhu Zi from Jinshin Town. I am a recent freshman from Class 1A and it's nice to meet you." "Hello, my name is Piper and I am a student from Class 2G, 1 grade higher than you. By the way, what are you doing in such a hurry?" Zhu Zi suddenly realized and was anxious to stand still. "Oh, by the way, I'm almost late. Goodbye." "Well, goodbye." Saying goodbye, Zhu Zi ran away and saw Papa calmly locking the door. Zhu Zi couldn't help but run backwards and asked, "Papa, don't you have to go to class? It's class time now." "Oh, I don't need it. As long as I pass the first stage of my studies, I can go out and participate in adventure treasure hunt. It's like this, it's really good, it's really enviable. I also want to go on an adventure early." Watching Zhu Zi feel lost for a while, Papa awkwardly smiled and spoke up. "Aren't you going soon? You're already late." "Ah yes. I'm leaving." After speaking, he left with great enthusiasm. About 2,000 years ago, the Parthian Empire began to rule this region. It is said that the sound of Lang Lang's class came, and Zhu Zi rushed forward like a wild person. With a short track of speed skating-like movements, he quickly slipped to the classroom door and pulled it open. I saw a lady with purple hair, half-framed glasses, wearing a retro lake blue denim jacket and jeans, with dark skin. She was wearing a lot of legendary Pokémon elements. The prototype of the hanging tag on the chest is a frozen bird, the prototype of the headdress is Machado, the prototype of the bracelet on hand is Kapu Mingming, the prototype of the belt buckle is the Lunayara, the prototype of the hem on the clothes also seems to come from some kind of Pokémon, and it is unknown whether it is from various Pokémon. It is not difficult to see the fanaticism of this teacher, whom Zhu Zi had never met before, towards the legendary Pokémon. Before Zhu Zi could speak, the other party spoke first. "You are the newly enrolled Zhu Zi, right? Let me introduce myself first. My name is Lei He and I teach history. Please go back to your seat and be careful not to be late next time." Zhu Zi and Pikachu apologized to the teacher and his classmates who had disturbed the class, and arrived at their seats. Nemo whispered on the side. "Zhu Zi, why are you late?" Zhu Zi scratched the back of his head and whispered in agreement. "I was too excited when I just started school and overslept." Xiao Qing also whispered to the side. "Be more careful next time." Returning to his seat, Zhu Zi continued to listen to the lecture on the distant history of the Parthian region taught by teacher Rao, and learned that about 2,000 years ago, the emperor of the Parthian Empire was an extremely dictatorial person who fervently believed in the legend of treasures in the depths of the Zero Zone, which is the inner power of the Parthian pit, known as the Zero Zone, except for the 15 districts on the land of Parthia. In order to gain the strength to confront neighboring countries, the emperor sent a large number of people to explore the treasure in Zone 0. 805 years ago, the Orange Grape College, which we all attend now, was officially established. 800 years ago, the Parthian Empire merged with neighboring countries to form the complete Parthian region today. 200 years ago, the observation team of Zone 0 finally reached the deepest point of Zone 0. The exploration records, Zhu Zi Shu, and Zi Zi Shu, written by observation team member Haizhe, can now be found in bookstores and other places. The book records the author's arrival in unknown territories in the Parthian region, but the authenticity is not yet clear. About 140 years ago, someone discovered the Pokémon shrouded in mysterious light. The crystalline Pokémon. Although people brought these Pokémon back from Zone Zero, they lost the radiance of their bodies. For a long time afterwards, the phenomenon of recrystallization was shrouded in mystery. 10 years ago, Dr. Olin and Dr. Futu explained the principle of crystallization and invented the technology of crystal beads, making it practical and providing it to the Pokémon Alliance and schools. Too crystalline beads. Upon hearing this, Zhu Zi exclaimed in surprise and looked towards Pikachu. So your mysterious crystallization power is called this name. He continues his class. Crystallization is a unique phenomenon in the Parthian region, which can make Pokémon shine like gemstones. After the crystallization of Pokémon, crown-like gemstones will appear on the head and other parts, and the surface of the body will shine like cut gemstones. The reason why recrystallization occurs is related to the unique magnetic field formed by the energy of recrystallization seeping out of the earth in the Parthian region. Due to the fact that many puzzles have not yet been solved, Dr. Olin and Dr. Tu are conducting research. Unfortunately, the two of them discovered the phenomenon of terracrystallography 10 years ago and invented terracrystallographic beads based on it. Since then, terracrystallography has been used in battles. Afterwards, the zero zone in the giant pit disappeared, causing research to stagnate for a while. After introducing the long history of Parthia, let's now talk about the properties of the crystal. Each Pokémon has its own Taijing attribute and only one type exists. There is a high probability that the Taijing attribute of Pokémon in the wild will be the same as one of their attributes. For example, as Rayo spoke, he took out his own Pokémon Ball and released his Pokémon Gengar and Soroyak. For example, if Soroyak's attribute is evil, then its amorphous attribute can generally only be its original single attribute type. For example, if this Gung Ghost has both Ghost and Poison Pokémon attributes, there will only be two possibilities for its Taijing attribute. Either Ghost or Poison. Using Taijing's Pokémon with dual attributes will change from dual attributes to single attributes. Speaking, he took back his two Pokémon and continued with class. The Pokémon or wild Pokémon that appear in the Taijing group battle have specific Taijing attributes that do not originally belong to them. For example, the 8 current Taoist masters in the Parthia region each have one Taijing attribute that is different from their own, one of the other 18 attributes, Pokémon. However, except for the Taoist master Aoki of the Jinhui Taoist temple. Zhu Zi listened attentively and enthusiastically, rubbing his hands and raising his hand to ask questions when he heard something he didn't understand. Teacher Lei, why is it only the owner of the Daoguan in Jinhui town excluded? After listening, Teacher Leiha played a trick. This is the answer that you will have to take risks on your own later. The students in the audience boasted for a while. Leihi coughed and continued his class to learn. During the cultivation process of Pokémon, the crystal properties will not be inherited. The Taijing attribute of the descendant Pokémon is the same as one of the attributes of the descendant Pokémon. After being too crystallized, it will affect some effects in battles, and the attributes of the moves against Pokémon will be calculated based on the properties of the crystal. For example, Leiha looked around for a week. Let Xiaoji's Pikachu come up and let me demonstrate and explain. Pikachu also cooperated well and ran towards the lesson plan on the podium, standing straight and spreading his arms for the teacher and classmates to use in class. For example, damage moves with electrical attributes can deal twice as much damage to Pikachu with flying attributes as those with crystal attributes. Damage moves with ground attributes cannot cause any damage. Damage moves that match the attributes of Taijing will receive a bonus of the same attribute, and the power of the move will increase by 1.5 times. The original attributes of Pokémon have consistent bonuses that remain unchanged. If the Taijing attribute of Pokémon is the same as one of its original attributes, the bonus of that attribute will be doubled if it is consistent. For example, Pikachu, whose crystal properties are electrical, will have a power increase of twice when used with 100,000 volts after crystallization. If the crystal's attribute is a flying attribute, it is 1.5 times unchanged. Ding-ling-ling. The bell rang for the end of class, and he closed the lesson plan. Okay, today's class is over. Let's get out of class, students. Zhu Zi couldn't bear to leave class and remained immersed in knowledge about the distant history of Parthia and the crystal beads. Nemo interrupted the immersed little wit and said, Zhu Zi, let's go to the cafeteria to have our most anticipated battle class this afternoon. After listening, Zhu Zi's eyes lit up again. What, there are also battle classes? Xiaoqing added on the side. Yeah. Previously, Teacher Virginia mentioned the course content to us in class. You can also take a look at the schedule. Zhu Zi felt a little embarrassed, shook his head and picked himself up, then continued speaking. Let's go to the cafeteria now. After finishing, we'll go to the battle class. After speaking, the three of them left the classroom together. At this moment, the four members of the rocket team dressed as academic cleaners, wearing aprons and disguising themselves, holding cleaning supplies, were peeking at Zhu Zi and the others in the hallway. Seeing that the three of them were about to pass by, he quickly lowered the brim of his hat and cleaned the corridor with a makeshift appearance. Seeing the three of them passing by without any notice, the four of them put down their respective work and gathered together to whisper. Did you hear me? I heard. It said that there will be a battle class in the afternoon, meow. So, there will be a strong Pokémon that I can capture and offer to Sakaki boss. Of course, you can't forget Pikachu from Little Ghost. Sonins. At this moment, a dark figure appeared from behind the four of them, and they all turned their heads in unison. Wearing an apron, wearing a shower cap, and holding a broom, Zhu Zi's magic wall doll appeared, speaking angrily. Moni, Musashi and Kojiro looked gray and nervous as they spoke. Meow, what is he saying? Yeah, it feels very angry. Translated by Meow Meow, who is proficient in human language. It tells us not to be lazy, saying that Principal Lackwell handed us over to it, and we have to listen to its task allocation. Moni. Otherwise, we won't have any staff meals to eat tonight. Damn it. If it weren't for being caught by the principal and destroying the teaching building, how would we be willing to fall into the trap of being servants under the magic wall doll? It's not because it can cook delicious staff meals. Musashi said disdainfully, but the saliva at the corner of his mouth involuntarily flowed down. That is to say, our approach is to break into the enemy's internal forces, to know ourselves and the enemy, and to achieve victory in every battle, not to eat. Kojiro also drooled while speaking. Behind him, Meow Meow and sure enough, one had already turned their mouths into a river. The four of them seemed unwilling on the surface, but in reality, their hearts had already blossomed and they followed behind the magic wall doll with a proud and coquettish expression. Kojiro asked lightly. I don't know what we're having tonight. Moni. Meow and Meow drool, with a dazzling smile in their eyes. It says it's curry rice. The other few couldn't help but shiver and whispered. What a happy feeling. Looking back, Zhu Zi and the others were walking towards the playground from the cafeteria, eating dry and wiping clean. The afternoon battle class will be held on the playground. Nemo brought her newcomers Zhu Zi and Xiaoqing and said. As he walked, Zhu Zi suddenly stopped his footsteps. Xiaoqing turned around and asked in confusion. Zhu Zi, what's wrong with you? I saw someone I knew before. Looking in the direction of Zhu Zi's fingers, there was a familiar figure sitting on the bench outside the playground. It was the girl who Zhu Zi had entered the wrong dormitory door before, carrying an Ibrahim backpack. She was focused, with the light reflected on her glasses, and her hands quickly tapping the laptop on her lap. Zhu Zi quickly stepped forward, intending to apologize and introduce himself. Hello, I'm really sorry about what happened before. I'm Zhu Zi from Jinshin Town. May I ask if you are? The girl carrying an Ibrahimovic backpack quickly closed her computer and put it in her backpack when she saw the three of them approaching. She put on her backpack and said something. Don't worry, I have already forgotten about that matter. After speaking, he turned around and left. Hey. Before Zhu Zi could finish speaking, the girl had already put down this sentence and left, leaving behind a stunned Zhu Zi. I know her, she just lives next door to me. I also know her, she is the peony who lives between me and Xiaoqing. Xiaoqing and Nemo appeared behind Zhu Zi while talking, and Nemo continued to speak. She is in the same grade as us, but in different classes. She is in class 1.D, but she is a bit shy and seems to be hesitant to come to the classroom for some reason. She also doesn't want to wear school uniforms. She loves the furry Ibrahimovic bag, always carries it on her back, and always plays with her laptop. Zhu Zi listened to Nemo and her introduction to peonies with great curiosity. Originally, she was like this, thinking she could become friends. Xiaoqing said on the side. Don't mention this, let's go to the playground quickly, otherwise we will be late for the afternoon class. Zhu Zi exclaimed in surprise. Yes, let's go. After speaking, the three of them ran towards the direction of the playground. Chapter 7. Double Battle vs. Phoenix Berk. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhu Zi, Xiaoqing, Nemo, and Pikachu entered a huge building inside the college. Little Zi didn't expect that within such an open college, there was still a huge playground hidden. From the exterior of the building, it couldn't be seen what it was, but it felt like a fortified city or fortress, grand yet not very exquisite, making it difficult to understand. Entering the gate of the playground, the indoor and outdoor styles are vastly different, and suddenly it becomes clear that the interior of the building is open-air. There is a circle of Alliance standard red plastic runway on the outer edge of the ground, and the center of the ground is a square field for combat. On the walls outside the ground, rows of audience seats are embedded, and on the four walls above, there are large electronic screens for on-site audience viewing, as well as several rows of high lighting racks. There are many students inside, carrying their Pokémon, resting, taking walks, and engaging in battles. There are battles there, count me as one of you. Zhu Zi spoke while running towards the two students who were fighting. Zhu Zi, now is not the time to do this. Nemo struggled to pull Zhu Zi, who was determined to move forward, and Xiaoqing, who was beside her, also explained. Yeah, Zhu Zi, we're going to have a battle class. Look around for a week. Oh, our classmates and teacher Huanhua are gathering there. Xiaoqing said, pointing to the battlefield in the center of the playground, and then gathered with all the classmates in the class. After calling out all the classmates in the class, Huangbo saw the presence of Zhu Zi. New classmate. This is the first time I have seen you. My name is Huangbo and I am your teacher for the battle class. Zhu Zi sincerely apologized. Sorry, teacher Huanhua. I used to miss your indoor battle class because I overslept again. I'm Zhu Zi from Jinshin Town. Huangbo replied with a smile. It's okay, that class was just a self-introduction and taught us how to perform the joyful and angry rhythmic gymnastics dance in this class. Zhu Zi looked incredulous. Joy, anger, shock, and joy. Gymnastics. Before Zhu Zi could understand, the pleasant music had already begun to play. I saw teacher Huanhua accompanying this accompaniment, leading the exercises in front of the students, and the students below were also gesturing along. At this point, you can see the teaching achievements of Huangbo in the previous class. Students like Xiaoqing and Nemo who listened attentively in class can naturally and completely jump up with the lead exercise. Only a few students may not be proficient yet, but after silently following the dance, they can still perform well. On the other hand, Xiaoji is frantically trying to keep up with the big guy's movements, and the already strange gymnastics seems even more peculiar to Xiaoji. The students from other classes who passed by on the playground were not surprised to see this. After all, the students from other classes in the war class had also attended classes to some extent. But seeing Xiaoji jump up and perform like a drowning toad, he couldn't help but pause briefly and chuckle softly. Pikachu, who was standing next to Xiaoji, also awkwardly distanced himself from him, fearing that he might be related to Xiaoji, who had become the center of attention on the playground. Okay, accelerate. Accelerate. Do it again. Accompanied by Huang Bo's jumping command, Xiaoji was so tired that he stepped on his right foot and accidentally fell to the ground. The classmates watching his dance behind Xiaoji couldn't help but burst into laughter. Xiaoqing and Nemo looked at the comical Xiaoji and also lowered their heads in embarrassment, whispering softly. Xiaoji. Really? Huang Bo, who was leading the operation in front, turned around and didn't know what had happened behind her. Sitting on the ground, Xiaoji, who knew he had become the focus of the scene, blushed with embarrassment and said. I'm not jumping anymore. This is not the battle class I was looking forward to. I'm going to have a Pokémon battle. Huang Bo walked through the crowd of students and came to Xiaoji, speaking helplessly. Actually, I don't want to create this anger and joy gymnastics myself. Who said that I lost to someone in a Pokémon battle where whoever loses will listen to the other person, and this gymnastics is the price of losing? Huang Bo looked at the exhausted crowd who had already skipped 2 rounds of exercise and said. Forget it, today's jump exercises have come to an end, and there is still a little classroom time left. Huang Bo spoke as he raised his hand. So, does anyone want to engage in a Pokémon battle with me? The whole room was in an uproar, whispering softly. I guess there won't be any challengers again. Yeah. Who dares to touch Teacher Huangbo? Isn't this beyond their own abilities? Huang Bo saw that everyone had no intention of challenging him, and finally asked. Is there no one left? If not, then we'll finish class. Upon hearing waves of exclamation, Huang Bo looked into the crowd and saw that Xiaoji had been resurrected with blood. He stood up and raised his arm high. Teacher Huangbo, here. Here. I want to challenge you. What? It's Xiaoji, is he crazy? Challenge Teacher Huangbo. Xiaoji is also puzzled. Strange. Such a great opportunity for battle. Why isn't anyone willing to participate? Xiaoqing said on the side. Xiaoji. Isn't it Tianfeng Night talk to defeat the teacher? Xiaoji said in confusion. How could that be? Aren't we supposed to have a Pokémon battle in the battle class? Nemo also answered. Although that's the case, the difficulty of taking this path is too great because as long as you attend classes well and pass each stage of the subject, you can receive the Taijing Zhu assigned by the college, and then participate in adventures and treasure hunting offline. Speaking, Nemo took out too many pearls from her bag, and Xiaoji exclaimed in surprise. What? When did you have this crystal bead? What's up here, Xiaoji? As Xiaoqing spoke, she took out her own crystal bead, and Xiaoji looked incredulous. What? Why do you all have it? Perhaps it's not just us, but most of the students in the class have it. And we can go out next week to embark on our own adventures. Listening to Xiaoqing's explanation, Xiaoji looked dejected. Nemo touched her chin and thought for a moment. Indeed, for Xiaoji, who is often late and has not completed enough passing grades, the college has stipulated that students who have passed can take risks. Another unexpected method is to defeat any teacher in the college, but it is much harder to defeat than passing. But I believe that Xiaoji and Pikachu can also take this path of confrontation. Xiaoji became interested. Come on. Teacher Huangbo, let's have a Pokémon battle. What? Xiaoji wants to challenge Teacher Huangbo. New student Zhu Zi is going to have a battle with the teacher in the battle class. Through word of mouth among classmates, more and more students are gathering to watch this Pokémon battle. In the distant audience, the 4 members of the rocket team were standing with telescopes, watching the imminent Pokémon battle from a distance. Anyway, I think Little Ghost and Pikachu will definitely win. Meow Meow said with a telescope. Alright, Meow Meow. Let's hurry up and clean the playground and audience seats. The magic wall dolls will come to check soon. That's right, let's hurry up and clean up. The venue is very large. Sonins. The big battle was about to take place, and Huang Bo muttered the rules of the competition. Next, we are going to have a doubles match, where both sides have to fight until both Pokémon on one side lose their combat ability, which is considered the losing side. On the other hand, the winning side is considered the end of the match. The match will be temporarily judged by Nemo, the student president and class monitor. Do you have any questions, Zhu Zi? No problem, then. Then both sides spoke in unison. The battle begins. Huang Baigao threw his own Pokéball and sent out formation soldiers and Iron Palm warriors. Zhu Zi immediately dispatched his remaining Pikachu and Lucario. We can't miss this battle, come out. New Leaf Cat. After Xiaoqing finished speaking, she let out the New Leaf Cat and hugged it in her arms, affectionately rubbing against the New Leaf Cat's cheek. Not bad, then we can't miss it either. Come out. Stupid fire crocodile. Ah. The silly fire crocodile that appeared between Nemo and Xiaoqing was startled by Xiaoqing's sudden scream. Xiaoqing was scared by the silly fire crocodile and crouched on the ground. Fire-type Pokémon. Fire-type Pokémon. I'm most afraid of fire-type Pokémon. Nemo is a bit incomprehensible. Why? Xine Cat looked at Xiaoqing, who was startled by her embrace, and angrily let out a hissing sound, driving the fire crocodile away. The Danhua crocodile shook off the yellow flame hair on its head and grabbed its cheek with its short forelimbs. I saw Zhu Zi's figure in the crowd, with a happy big mouth and smiling eyes, running towards Zhu Zi's side. Nemo picked it up and held it in her arms. Alright, stupid fire crocodile, don't scare Xiaoqing anymore. Let's watch Zhu Zi and their battle carefully. Zhu Zi said, somewhat disappointed. How come it's not the black Pokémon that I saw upstairs earlier, resembling Kentaro? But it's okay, I will definitely win in the end. Huang Bo refuted. That's not necessarily the case. The formation soldiers use their hammers against Pikachu, while the Iron Palm warriors use their rackets against Lucario. A hammer resembling 6 shells charged straight towards the front of Pikachu. The Iron Palm warrior leaped high, extended his huge palm, and fiercely slapped Lucario's body. Zhu Zi smiled slightly and received a command from Chengzhu in his heart. Lucario used bullet punches against Iron Palm warriors, while Pikachu used Iron Tails continuously against formation soldiers. At the moment of the intersection of the 4, Lucario thrust forward and charged into the inner abdomen of the falling Iron Palm, causing the Iron Palm slap to pass behind Lucario. Lucario, on the other hand, hit the Iron Palm's abdomen with a sustained bullet punch and hooked upwards, causing the Iron Palm to slide down from his side to the ground. Pikachu jumped up with a continuous burst of Iron Tail output, hitting each of the 6 individuals of the formation soldiers one by one. The formation soldiers were thrown out one by one, landing like rolling gourds, scattering in all directions. Everyone present was surprised. Huang Bo gritted his teeth and was surprised. It seems that I underestimated the enemy. I am a formation soldier and an Iron Palm warrior, using close combat punches. For a moment, 2 fallen Pokémon emerged from the ground, with 1 big and 6 small individual using their close fists to attack Pikachu and Lucario, flashing white figures and exploding like fireworks on the battlefield. Zhu Zi quickly gave the order. Quickly dodge, Pikachu, Lucario. I saw two Pokémon with high speed dodging the exploding melee attacks with ease, but they still couldn't resist the large number of attacking individuals from the other side. For a while, the intensive attacks were like pouring rain, rushing towards the two, causing them to feel slightly tired and constantly being attacked and scratched. Xiaoji, who was worried about the two of them, pursed her lips tightly and suddenly had an idea, issuing a command. Lucario, after throwing the Pikachu upwards, use a waveguide projectile towards the ground. The two of them received instructions to swing left and right, dodge the attack from the side, and Lucario stood upside down, using his feet as pedals for Pikachu to stand. With a step back, he lifted Pikachu high into the sky. On the other hand, he is a somersault, completing the continuation of his skills while briefly hovering in the air, and hitting the ground heavily with a waveguide missile at close range. For a moment, the ground shook continuously for more than 10 meters, causing many students to lose their balance and collapse on the ground. The attack was very successful, with dust and gravel splattering, and a small hole of several tens of centimeters was blasted out of the ground. Visual obstruction and damage from standing on the ground create a gap for the opponent to stop attacking and stall. Once the goal is achieved, Xiaoji shouts loudly. Lucario, avoid it quickly. Pikachu uses 100,000 volts. Seeing Lucario leave the pit, Pikachu rolls in the air and uses 100,000 volts towards the two people inside the pit. A lightning bolt strikes and thick smoke rises. In the last second of Pikachu's attack, Huang Bo shouted. Use and hold on. Waiting for the thick smoke to dissipate, a scene that surprised Xiaoji and Pikachu appeared. The Iron Palm Warrior's body was filled with white smoke, and the defense from the move was not affected by the opponent's attack. The bulging muscles were strong enough to withstand the damage of 100,000 volts, and the 6 individuals of the formation soldiers also hid under him unharmed. The scene suddenly exploded, and cheers boiled. The students couldn't believe it, and cheers erupted. Even the rocket team, who were far away in the audience, were doing cleaning in their hands, but their hearts were focused on this confrontation, staring at this place motionless. The Iron Palm Warrior took off its defenses and made contact in a defensive state. After the 100,000 volt attack pursued by Pikachu, a tingling numbness struck and it fell into a paralyzed state, causing its characteristic perseverance to be activated, greatly increasing its attack power. Lucario suddenly knelt on one foot and was seriously injured. It turned out that Pikachu had left the attack range in neutral, and his body was solidly punched twice, greatly reducing his combat performance. Xiaoji was worried, but he fought fiercely and shouted. Teacher Huanghua, I won't lose to you. Lucario uses Resurrection against the formation soldiers, and Pikachu once again uses 100,000 volts to attack the Iron Palm Warriors. Suddenly, the sky darkened and Pikachu's body underwent another crystalline transformation. It's too crystalline. This sentence was widely circulated among the crowd. I saw Pikachu covered with crystals all over his body, and once again a blurry crystal appeared on his head. Huang Bo said. I thought you didn't have the ability to crystallize too much, and for the sake of fairness, I don't plan to use it either. Since you can use it, then I'm not polite. I saw the crystal bead in Huang Bo's hand flickering, and then threw it onto the Iron Palm Warrior. A crystal-like Iron Palm Warrior appeared, with a fist-shaped crystal on top of his head. Obviously, this is the combat attribute Tai Jing that I have learned in class, and the combat skills have been enhanced. On the other hand, the crystal on top of Pikachu's head still cannot be distinguished by its attribute marks, which is puzzling. Slowly. There were some contours in the blur, sharp and angular, just like hat. Some viewers from different angles in the crowd think so. Iron Palm Warrior, use True Chi Fist. The danger approached step by step, and the Iron Palm Warrior punched straight down, while Lucario hit him head-on. But Pikachu seemed to lose control again, and for a moment, the 100,000 volt current in his body surged everywhere, causing everyone present to flee, afraid of being affected by this terrifying electric current attack and accidentally injured. Iron-fisted warrior, Lucario's pupils tightened, and a splashing 100,000 volts passed by, exploding with a loud bang. As the smoke dissipated, Nemo and Xiaoqing, who were referees, came to inspect the audience on their own. Nemo raised her arm high. I declare that the victorious side this time is Teacher Huanghua. Originally, Pikachu's uncontrollable attack exploded on the spot, and Iron Palm warriors, Lucario, and Pikachu were all devoured by this hegemonic force, leaving only the formation soldiers who used iron walls on the scene, surviving by chance. The competition is over, and Xiaoji, who is fighting, is panting heavily. Everyone present is stunned. After a brief moment of silence, there was once again a burst of enthusiastic applause, and the battles we fought back and forth made the onlookers exclaim with excitement. The rocket team, who were far away in the audience, were summoned. Hello. This is the rockets. This is the rockets. Headquarters. Headquarters. Meow. Is it still not working? Meow meow. Not at all, meow. Ever since I came here, the black Lotham phone I carried on my body has been unable to communicate, meow. Of course not, you haven't received the college Lotham phone exclusively for educators, have you? The rockets looked in the direction of the sound and saw Principal Lackwell standing behind them with his hands behind his back at some point. Ah. It's the principal. We're not slacking off. So Nancy, I saw that Lackwell didn't face them directly. I have already placed my phone with the magic wall doll. You can go and collect it when the time comes. Ah, thank you so much, Principal, for your concern. We are extremely grateful, ah meow. At this moment, Lackwell did not hear the compliments from behind the rockets. He was only focused on the hard work of Xiaoji, who had worked hard against Pikachu and Lucario on the battlefield, muttering silently. Perhaps Xiaoji would be the best candidate. Chapter 8. Off-campus adventures are coming soon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It has been over a month since Xiaoji and Pikachu enrolled in Orange Grape College. During this time, they have come to understand the unique geographical landscape, cultural history, and become familiar with the students and teachers here. They have also made many new friends and become familiar with all aspects of the college. But as time goes by, more and more students have achieved passing grades, left the college, and embarked on adventures in the vast Parthian region, including Nemo. In fact, she has already completed her grades and obtained her own Tai Jingzhu. However, the work in the student union and the mess left by the previous student president have left her exhausted. At this moment, she, who loves adventure and regains her freedom, will surely gallop ahead like a wild horse that has run free. Xiaoqing, are you also leaving this week? Xiaoji asked in a low voice. Yes, Xiaoji, I am also looking forward to this day. I'm almost the only one left in that class who hasn't received the crystal beads yet, so I'm going on an adventure outside of school. Looking at the low-pressure Xiaoji, Xiaoqing comforted her. Don't think so, you will soon be able to go on an adventure. After all, you are a new student, and other classmates have taken 1 or 2 more months of classes than you. It is only natural for you to complete the passing grades earlier than you. Xiaoqing is not only a new student, but also catching up with other classmates' progress. Xiaoqing smiled awkwardly. We are different. I come from Zhipi town and am a native of Parthia. The history and humanities of the Parthian region have a higher level of acceptance than you. Courses like biology and history are already a bit difficult for novices from other places to learn. Xiaoji pouted and said. I am not good at other courses that are not restricted by region, such as mathematics, home economics, art, and linguistics, and I cannot beat Teacher Huanghua in battle classes. Xiaoqing shook her head. But I don't really think so. I think Xiaoji is very talented in battles. Xiaoji smiled inwardly. Although he knew he was the king of the Pokémon World Championships now, he never considered it his ultimate goal. Every time he arrived in a new area, he could always unload all his burdens, make new friends, have a new Pokémon, fight bravely, and win victories. Zhu Zi. Zhu Zi. Pickups. Pickups. Xiaoqing interrupted Zhu Zi's contemplation, and Pikachu was also worried about his gloomy face. Zhu Zi smiled and answered. "Oh, I don't have anything to do, I just remembered some small things from the past." Upon hearing this, Xiaoqing finally felt relieved and thought of a way for Zhu Zi to quickly obtain the qualification to go out, as extracurricular adventure activities were imminent. "Zhu Zi, I have come up with a good solution that suits you." Zhu Zi was overjoyed and answered with a sincere expression on his face. "What's a good solution?" "That is, the method mentioned by Nemo earlier, besides achieving a passing grade, is to defeat any teacher in the college and also obtain a passing grade outside." Zhu Zi suddenly realized. "What, it turns out that defeating any teacher is enough. I thought only teachers in battle classes had this privilege." After Zhu Zi finished speaking, he happily picked up Pikachu and threw him high, then steadily caught him, repeating the cycle. Xiaoqing couldn't help but interrupt them who were in a happy mood. But what?" Zhu Zi turned his head and asked, forgetting about Pikachu in the air for a moment. He landed heavily and collided with him, causing them to see stars in their eyes. After the noise, the two walked and chatted. "Do you know how many part-time employees in our college can challenge us?" Zhu Zi twisted the brim of his hat, put it back on, and hugged his chest, thinking about it. "Since we are talking about teaching staff, in addition to the teachers of 7 subjects, there are also President Lackwell and Chairman Yassi. Oh, there is also Mimosa in the nursing department of the college." Xiaoqing nodded. "That's right, but Mimosa Nursing is still just a doctor in the college's medical room and has not obtained a teaching qualification, so it can be ruled out. And besides being a college council member, President Yessi is also the league champion in the Parthian region. I don't think you can beat her now. As for President Lackwell, who is busy with work and sometimes has lost track, he is still not the person you choose. So we can only choose teachers from those 7 subjects, right?" Xiaoqing awkwardly smiled and answered. "It seems like that's true, there's no mistake." Continuing to speak again. "We will start from these 7 teachers, as if in the students' minds, the strength of each teacher can be divided into 3 levels. 3. What level is Huangbo's teacher at?" Zhu Zi curiously asked. After all, this was the first time he had heard this statement. "Is it teacher Huangbo? I remember she seems to be in the 1st tier. After all, according to rumors, she has a close relationship with a certain Taoist museum owner, but her strength is at a lower level. Above her, there is also Tam from the mathematics department and Ba Shoa from the art department. What? Is such a strong Huanhua just downstream of the 1st tier? Great. Unexpectedly, Huang Bo, the teacher of the competition class, belongs to the 1st tier, which Zhu Zi can predict. As for Tam and Basho, it's hard to imagine. One is that after getting lost with Mimosa, he helped himself lead the way, and the knowledge taught in class was astronomical numbers that he couldn't understand. Another is an art teacher who has long hair draped over his shoulders and exudes an artistic atmosphere. It's hard to imagine that their strength is stronger than Huang Bo, who specializes in battle classes. Zhu Zi cannot conceal his excitement. After all, there are stronger trainers waiting for him to challenge. Zhu Zi, you need to figure out the situation. Now you need to dodge the sharpness. Although I don't think you will lose, you need to consider a variable, which is Too Crystallization. Because you don't have too much beads, you don't have the bonus of this layer of means at the moment. In battles, when facing opponents who don't have Too Crystallization ability, you give up the use of Too Crystallization ability. Only Huang Bo would do this. I think teachers from other subjects may spare no effort to defeat you. Zhu Zi looked at Pikachu. I thought to myself, yes. Although Pikachu seems to have the ability to independently crystallize, I also don't want Pikachu to bear the pain of its uncontrollable power. Pikachu, let's take Xiao Qing's advice and temporarily avoid the sharpness. Pikachu nodded after listening. Next is Virginia, the biology teacher, and Rayo, the history teacher in the second tier, the home economics teacher, Severo, and the linguistics teacher, Sergei, in the third tier. Let's start with the two teachers in the third tier. Zhu Zi also strongly agreed with Xiao Qing's analysis, so he decided to go to the teachers of these two teachers to see if they were willing to become opponents in the battle. Arriving at the teaching building, he walked straight towards the home economics teacher in Severo. Unfortunately, he was currently teaching to his senior classmates, including Zhu Zi's neighbor, Pipa. In the classroom, all the students were covered in cream on their faces, clothes, and bodies, anxiously cooking their own dessert works, and the theme on the blackboard was also written with the big word, dessert. Severo was preaching about Papa's work, but it turned out to be a sandwich. Severo is very angry, as it is well known that he is a person who likes to eat desserts. As for Pipa's behavior of ignoring the topic, he also has a headache. Pipa seemed to be explaining something, and based on his mouth shape, he should be persuading Severo to taste the sandwich he made. He couldn't refuse either, so he could only take a sip. Suddenly, visible in his eyes, Severo trembled slightly, then turned his hand over and placed the other hand in front of his mouth, clenching his fist and coughing lightly. His attitude seemed to take a step back, saying something, and then let go of Papa, who was not examining the topic, and commented on the works of others. It can be seen that Pippa's sandwich made flowers and conquered the stomach of Severo, who was only fond of desserts. However, he was not good at praising or preaching, and said a few words to let this matter pass. I saw Peppa pick up the sandwich he had made, take a bite, frown, remain silent, put it back, wipe his mouth. Unexpectedly, the sandwich that could conquer the teacher seemed inadequate to Peppa, who was strict with himself. At this moment, Zhu Zi and Pikachu outside, smelling the sweet smell emanating from the housekeeping classroom, had pressed their cheeks against the glass window, their appetite was aroused, and they were drooling. If it weren't for all the attention in the classroom being drawn to the unique spice flavor of the sandwiches made by Peppa, their comical faces may have been discovered long ago. Although Xiao Qing was also attracted by the fragrance, she didn't behave like the two of them, lightly tapping Zhu Zi. Zhu Zi, I don't think Mr. Severo has time to accept your challenge today. Let's go find other teachers who are available. After speaking, Zhu Zi and Pikachu reluctantly left their faces on the glass. At this moment, a familiar figure appeared in the medical room at the end of the corridor, and it was none other than the battle class teacher Huang Bo. Seeing both sides coming, Huang Bo was also very happy and swayed his raised arms. Zhu Zi, Xiao Qing, are you taking home economics class? Xiao Qing answered. No, Teacher Huangbo, we are. After revealing the whole story, Huang Bo burst into laughter. It turns out that's the case. It's really a pity. Even though Zhu Zi almost defeated me, it was a evenly matched battle. It's a pity. Zhu Zi also enjoyed the pleasure of the previous battle, replied. No, Teacher Huanghua, that was a good battle. It was the first exciting battle I had in the Parthian region. I think I can definitely defeat you next time. Huanghua smiled and Xiao Qing asked. Why do you often see teachers wearing new bandages, wounds, and entering and leaving the medical room? Please take care of yourself, teacher. Huang Bo explained. Oh, there's nothing I can do. Due to the course requirements of the battle class, I often accidentally hurt myself, and I'm also a regular in the medical room. But this time, I didn't go to find Mimosa because I was injured, but I made new dishes for her to taste. After speaking, reach out and show off the empty cutlery box in your hand. Oh, I see. However, if you want to engage in a battle with Severo, you may not be able to do as you wish, because I am not good at cooking. I have also been a frequent customer of Severo to seek advice in order to improve. Recently, I talked to him and learned that his upcoming course content is quite heavy, and I may not be able to find time to compete with Xiao Zi in the short term. Xiao Zi and Xiao Qing also expressed understanding, and then Huang Bo spoke up again. However, I think Mr. Saiji from the language class should have this time. Recently, I met him and he said he hasn't had a battle for a long time. He also invited me to be his opponent next time. Upon hearing this, Xiaoji and his team were overjoyed. After all, Saiji was the next candidate they were looking for in the battle, and Huang Bo continued. If possible, I am willing to go find him with you and serve as your witness and referee in the battle. What do you think? Great, Teacher Huanghua, it's not too late. Let's go find Teacher Saiji now. After speaking, I went to another floor to find the language classroom. As they were about to arrive and had not yet entered the classroom, a melodious recitation sound came out. The entry of the great pit of Parthia is a false treasure of the four antiquities. The four treasures should bear the power of decaying wood, frost cracking, dust, and fire. Every time the lock key is removed, the stakes are pulled out, and the sound is heard, welcoming the arrival of disaster. Gently buckle the classroom door, receive a response from the inner room, and enter the room. I saw that Teacher Saiji, regardless of the time, always wears oily hair and pink face, a suit and leather shoes, dressed neatly, and speaks and behaves appropriately. He is a famous negotiation banker and social influencer in the college. As expected, the recitation voice came from Saiji's mouth. Seeing everyone, he stood up and asked with a smile. Huang Bo, as well as Xiaoji and Xiaoqing from class 1.A, what can I do for you? Huang Bo helped Xiaoji and they took the initiative to ask. Teacher Saiji, didn't you disturb your lesson preparation? Saiji smiled and answered. I wasn't preparing for the lesson, I was just asked by Reo to help her translate the records in the ancient book. After speaking, Saiji picked up the books Zhu Zi and Zi from the table. Xiaoqing was puzzled and asked. Oh, this is not an adventure written a long time ago. The book records the author's arrival in an unknown territory in the Parthian region, but its authenticity is not yet clear. Can it be read in major bookstores and college libraries? Saiji nodded and answered. Yeah, although these two books are everywhere, the original works were written as early as 10 years ago, together with the disappearance of Olin and Dr. Futu, and they sank into the sea without any news. The work of regional exploration has also been stagnant, and we have lost the means to go to Zone 0. Until Leha, who was passionate about legends and history, discovered that these two books repeatedly elaborated on this passage, thinking that there was something strange, and asked me to help her translate the parts she didn't understand in the books. Xiaoqing listened attentively, but Xiaoji and Huanbo were absent-minded and yawned greatly. Saiji looked awkwardly and asked. Excuse me, Huang Bo is bringing 2 students here. What's the point? Entering the main topic, Huang Bo came to his senses. Is Saiji available now for a Pokémon battle? Saiji closed his book and said happily. Coincidentally, due to the recent translation work I have been doing, I have been bored and suffering unbearably. It's a good time to relax through the Pokémon battle. So, Huang Bo, are you going to fulfill our previous contract? Huanbo pushed out Xiaoji in front of her and took a step forward. The battle is a battle, but this time I'm just supporting you. The target you're going to fight this transfer student, Xiaoji. Saiji was overjoyed. Although it's not Huang Bo, I've heard of Xiaoji's name in the academy and his strength is not inferior to Huang Bo. Not bad, I'll accept Xiaoji's challenge. Xiaoji was also happy and spoke with firm determination. That's really great. Teacher Saiji asked us to find a spacious place to engage in the Pokémon battle now. Equally happy is Huang Bo. Then let's go to the square in front of the college. Do you think it's okay? Xiaoji and Saiji spoke in unison. Sure. The Pokémon battle is on the verge of breaking out, and off-campus adventures are imminent. The battle to bet on Zhu Zi's ability to qualify for going out has begun. Chapter 9. Battle of Betting on Outgoing Qualifications, vs Sage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Have you heard about it? What's wrong? Do you know the freshman from 1.A? I know. That new student from out of town had a big battle with two mysterious large robots over a month ago, and a week ago, he was on par with Huang Bo, a teacher in the battle class. The most concerning thing was the Pikachu, which had rare crystallization ability. It seems to be called Zhu Zi. What's wrong with him? I heard that he will have a Pokémon battle with the language class teacher Saiji again in the afternoon. It's really fake. Is he a war maniac? Why can't he take it so seriously? He has challenged the teachers of the academy multiple times. Isn't this just a mantis arm driving the car? I don't know, I heard it's to qualify for extracurricular adventures. Isn't that right? Isn't this qualification something that can be obtained by achieving a passing score? He feels a bit close and far-fetched in doing so. I don't know about this anymore. I also heard from my friends in class 1.A that I might not have passed the exam. After all, I enrolled too late in the early stage and overslept a few times. Oh, no wonder then. If that's the case, there's a possibility that it won't be repaired enough. Is the information about the battle accurate? It should be true. There are quite a few students waiting at the square, and I heard that that is the designated venue for their battle. What are we waiting for? Let's go join in this fun. Well, it's not too late. Let's go now. Let's go. As he spoke, he passed by several busy academic staff members who lowered their heads deliberately to avoid being noticed by others. They then instinctively turned their heads and looked sideways at the two students passing by, raising their ears to listen carefully to what was being said. Among them, the short man led by them said, "What, Little Ghost is going to have another Pokémon battle, meow." It turned out to be the Rocket Team disguised as cleaning workers in the college. Musashi's evil charm smiled and said, "So Pikachu will become exhausted after the battle, and we cannot miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What are we doing? It's not too late." Xiaojilang said as he walked behind the magic wall doll. I saw the magic wall doll breathing on the glass window with its mouth, while focusing on wiping it with a cloth. Team leader, I'm not feeling well in my stomach and would like to take a break for a while. The magic wall doll, who was mesmerized by wiping the glass, didn't agree and casually agreed. Moni, after a while, Musashi also came over and said, "Well, I'm not feeling well either. I want to take a leave." Moni, finally, Meow Meow and Goran Wang passed by. "I also need to take a leave, meow." Moni, Sonans. Moni. After the magic wall doll finally polished this piece of glass to a shiny finish, he was cross-legged and admiring his labor. Suddenly, he remembered something. Looking back, there were already brooms, mops, rags, buckets and other cleaning tools on the floor, and the magic wall doll sighed helplessly. Two students in the college were talking and walking outside the teaching building, passing down a long staircase connecting the teaching building and the square. Along the way, the number of pedestrians they passed by increased, and a pile of people had already gathered in the square. The onlookers were whispering and discussing. At this moment, behind the crowd, on the stairs, people suddenly began to clamor. I saw Zhu Zi, Xiao Qing, as well as Huang Bo and teacher Saiji, really walking on the way to the square. Zhu Zi saw so many people gathered in the square and was puzzled. Strange. Why are so many people gathering on the square? Xiao Qing also had a puzzled expression on her face. Yeah, are you all here waiting for someone? Huang Bo smiled and said. Yeah, what exactly is it? Teacher Saiji. You ask me, who am I asking? I saw Saiji pretending to be mysterious and answering Huang Bo's question. It is not difficult to see that this is Saiji's idea. After all, his hobby is reading and reciting novels related to war and romance. He has his own sense of ceremony, admires personal heroism, and is also an excellent negotiation expert, so he likes to be surrounded by listeners. His favorite novel to read among them is The Hero of B.W. Flame Thunder, written by the famous overseas novelist Wan Long. Arriving at the center of the square, Huang Bo briefly listened to and obtained advice from both sides on the battle, and ordered both sides to enter the arena. After putting on a good posture, he loudly announced his arrival. This time, there will be a 1v1 Pokémon battle here. The two sides of the battle are teacher Saiji from the language class and the new student Xiaoji from Jinshin Town. The winning or losing condition of the battle is to bet Xiaoji on obtaining the qualification for extracurricular adventure. If one of the Pokémon in the two sides loses its combat ability, it will be considered the losing side, and vice versa will be the winning side. Did both sides hear clearly? Listen carefully. Understood. Okay, the battle officially begins. Saiji rolled up his sleeves and pulled out the Pokémon ball from behind, which is one of the most traditional shoulder pitches in baseball. He threw it. With a flash of red light, sending his Pokémon as Raichu. Xiaoji looked at the evolution of his Pikachu sent by Saiji and said to Pikachu on his shoulder. Pikachu, it's up to you. Pickup truck. Pikachu rushed out in response and landed steadily on the square, and Xiaoji immediately ordered. Pikachu uses a flash of electric light. Saiji also responded. Raichu, use lightning to flash. For a moment, two white lightning bolts, one big and one small, chased after each other in the square, competing and not letting anyone down. But after all, as an evolutionary type of Pikachu, Raichu's body weight will be slightly heavier than his non-evolutionary type. Gradually, the speed of the larger lightning will be slower than that of the smaller lightning. As Pikachu's lightning flashed and was about to hit Raichu, he was accidentally knocked down and slid out by something. The whole audience was surprised, and upon closer inspection, they saw a strand of green leaves growing on the bare concrete ground where Pikachu was knocked down, forming a knot. What is this? I only heard that Saiji's instruction to Raichu earlier was, Raichu, use a grass knot. Originally, Pikachu was knocked down by a skill released by Raichu and suffered some damage. But fortunately, the effect of this skill is that the higher the opponent's weight, the greater the power of the move, with little effect. Saiji saw that the skill did not cause too much damage and continued to order. Raichu, use the Thunder Strike skill on Pikachu. Raichu hugged his chest and continued to exert force. After a brief extension, he opened his arms and a huge electric shock extended from his body. It was then thrown out in a parabolic trajectory and fell fiercely towards Pikachu's position. Xiaoji shouted loudly. Pikachu, use 100,000 volts quickly. Pikachu immediately resisted the attack of 100,000 volts, and two lightning bolts collided fiercely, with comparable power. You don't agree with me, I don't agree with you. The rocket team, dressed in different outfits, arrived late and hid behind the crowd to watch. Although we hope Pikachu can lose his combat ability and seize it during the chaos. However, Pikachu, who cannot witness our growth together, will lose to anyone. Come on. Pikachu. Ah meow. The rocket team's exclamation of surprise inevitably caught the attention of the students. Gradually, there were also some supportive voices in the crowd. Come on, transfer students. Come on, Pikachu. Saiji couldn't help but joke as he listened to these cheering voices for Xiaoji. I can't imagine a new student who has only been enrolled for a month. Since we have attracted so many people to cheer for you, it seems that you, Xiaoji, have a unique personality charm. Xiaoji smiled and answered. Thank you, Teacher Saiji, for your praise, but I think it's because you haven't lost in a long time, so the students are curious about it. Anyway, the ultimate victory will be for us. I wouldn't give up so easily either, come on. Ah. Pickup truck. Raichu. Amidst the shouts and struggles of both sides, two huge currents finally couldn't be sustained and exploded in an instant. The field suddenly became thick and smoky, filled with gunpowder. For a moment, both sides' Pokémon were buried inside Pikachu. "Are you okay?" Zhu Zi's worried voice reached Pikachu's ears, and Pikachu responded. "Pickups. Pickups signal that you are okay and ask Zhu Zi not to worry." Suddenly, the voice of Saiji ordering came from across. "Lei Qiu, use True Chi Bullet." As soon as the sound fell, a white light wave burst into the thick smoke, tearing through the smoke curtain and striking like Pikachu's doorstep. Zhu Zi said. "Quickly dodge, Pikachu." Speaking in a blink of an eye, Pikachu jumped up into the sky, seemingly unscathed and avoiding the opponent's true energy bomb attack. However, the next second, after landing, Pikachu still knelt on one knee, and the huge light wave just now grazed Pikachu's jumping ankle. The smoke dissipated, and only then did everyone see the situation on both sides clearly. The tension was extremely high, and it was about to enter a turning point. Soon, the outcome was about to come out. It's hard to say anything. But currently, it seems that Zhu Zi's Pikachu is at a disadvantage. Saiji commands Raichu. "It seems there's no need for too much crystallization, Lei Qiu. Use the True Chi Bullet for the last time and end the battle." Lei Qiu. Just as Lei Qiu was bending down to continue his strength and preparing to activate his skills, no one noticed that a charged net was quietly falling, enveloping Lei Qiu's body. What? Saiji, including everyone present, was shocked by Zhu Zi's series of operations. Obviously, it was the true gas bomb just now in the thick smoke that exposed the position of Raichu in the smoke. Pikachu used his skill grid to distract him when he jumped up, otherwise with his skills, he would not have been able to avoid Raichu's attack. Raichu struggled on his own during the power grid attack. Although the electrical skills did not cause much damage to him, the deceleration effect brought by the power grid was enough to make Pikachu counterattack. "Pikachu, use the Iron Tail attack." Pikachu quickly responded to Zhu Zi's command. Raichu struggled, finally breaking free from the constraints of the power grid, as the overwhelming power grid blocked its view. At the moment when the power grid was pulled apart, Pikachu's figure quietly appeared in front of it. A heavy Iron Tail attack hit Raichu's abdomen from bottom to top, causing Raichu to lean backwards and be placed in the air. Just as Zhu Zi and Pikachu were about to pursue the victory, Saiji revealed his own crystal beads. At this moment, everyone became excited. "I saw the sky gradually darken, and Saiji's hand was shining with gold," Saiji said. "I thought I could easily defeat the enemy, but it seems I underestimated them. Zhu Zi, let's see how you deal with it now." As Saiji once again threw the Pokeball, a crystal-shaped object in the shape of a light bulb appeared on top of his head, with a crystalline form all over his body, emitting a golden light. From this, it can be inferred that the electrical properties of a single crystal, which are electrical properties, double the amount of electrical properties added to the appearance of the Thunder Mound. "Zhu Zi, take the move and use Thunder." Zhu Zi is a bit worried. "Pikachu, let's also use that Too Crystalline skill." Pikachu nodded and gestured, running forward with a determined gaze as he stood. For a while, he did not activate too much crystallization. "Pickup truck." Pikachu was also puzzled and was using his own efforts to initiate the process of crystallization. "What's going on, Pikachu? Can't the crystallization start?" "Pickups." Pickups. Just as Pikachu turned his head and shook his head towards Zhu Zi, Raichu's lightning attack arrived as scheduled. The skill attack hit Pikachu standing 1 acre and 3/4 of land, and Pikachu was blown away by this explosion. What? Did the lightning strike skill miss? There's no way, Lei Qiu, let's do another lightning attack. Pikachu, who was hit by an explosive bomb, immediately stabilized his figure and stood on the ground again. As a new round of attack approached, sweat beads as big as beans oozed from Pikachu's forehead. Just as everyone thought the defeat had been decided, Zhu Zi had a clever idea and ordered to come. Pikachu, attack yourself using the power grid. What? Everyone was puzzled for a moment, but Pikachu didn't hesitate at all. He threw a power grid towards his own sky, and his skills landed on Pikachu's body. Raichu's lightning attack followed closely behind. A burst of lightning and thunder, and for a while, the smoke slowly dissipated. The result was contrary to everyone's opinion. The power grid attack formed a protective net around Pikachu, and the lightning that fell on the power grid was guided underground as the power grid touched several fulcrums on the ground. As Saiji and Raichu watched this unexpected response and were mesmerized by it, a voice came out. Pikachu, use a flash of electric light. Pikachu, who had broken free from the constraints of the power grid, shot out like a rapid bullet, and collided violently with the crystalline body of Raichu. Raichu was knocked back and stumbled a few steps, and Pikachu also bounced back and fell to the ground. Suddenly, the darkness of the sky disappeared, and when the sun returned, Raichu's crystal form was shattered and floated into the air, falling to the ground. On the other hand, Pikachu slowly stood up from his fallen state. Alright, the game is over and Raichu has lost his combat ability. The winning team is Pikachu and Kochi. As Huang Bo announced the end of the competition, the scene suddenly exploded. That's amazing. The transfer student knocked down teacher Saiji. You don't need to have too much crystallization ability to defeat the overly crystallized Pokémon. Amidst the crowd's exclamations, the Rockets also burst into tears and applauded. What a wonderful battle. Yeah, that's how we can capture the meaning of Pikachu. So what are we waiting for? Meow. That's right. Sonins. I saw all the members of the rocket team, their faces suddenly changed, and they pulled out insect nets from behind. Just as they were about to show off their skills. The magic wall doll appeared from behind them. Moni. Moni. Subsequently, the magic wall dolls held Musashi and Kojiro with one hand, and Meow Meow and Karan On with the other, walking towards their workplace. The Rockets were so frustrated. What a disgusting feeling. On the field, Zhu Zi ran forward and steadily caught Pikachu's body, which was about to fall backwards from behind. Saiji put away Raichu and came to Zhu Zi, extending his hand. Congratulations, Zhu Zi. From now on, you have qualified for extracurricular adventures. Zhu Zi happily reached out to hold the hand handed over by Saiji. Thank you, Teacher Saiji. It was really an exciting competition. In the blink of an eye, Zhu Zi looked at Pikachu in his arms and said. Pikachu, we can go on adventures outside of school now. Pick up. In the distance, inside the glass window of the principal's office in the teaching building, Blackwell was silently watching all of this. Meanwhile, under a large tree not far away, Peony was also looking at Zhu Zi and Pikachu in the battle, lost in thought. Chapter 10. Hat Too Crystallized. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pikachu, Lucario, I'm too excited. Zhu Zi, Pikachu, and Lucario are walking on the path of the academy, and it has been a week since they fought against Saiji. Within this week, Xiaoqing and Xinya Cat have also received their Tai Jingzhu, left the academy, and embarked on their own adventure journey. This week has been really tough, waiting for my neck to grow. Fortunately, I have the help of Pikachu and Lucario. Thank you all. They both looked proud and agreed with their backs crossed. After obtaining the qualification to go out, it was said that we would have to wait for a week to receive the crystal beads given by Principal Lackwell, which shows how difficult it is to create this craft. We also need to thank Dr. Olin and Dr. Futu for their contributions. If possible, I really want to see them with my own eyes. In no time, Zhu Zi and his group arrived at the place where Lackwell left a message for them to come. On the college square, Zhu Zi also packed his luggage, carried a backpack, and prepared to collect his own Tai Jingzhu before embarking on an adventure outside the school. After all, he doesn't want to fall behind his classmates too much and is already eager to meet the new Pokémon. At this moment, Xiaoji and his team saw two people dressed in college uniforms, which were a bit strange. They were wearing white motorcycle helmets with exaggerated star-shaped goggles decorations on them, surrounded by another person who was not wearing college uniforms. As Xiaoji approached, she realized that the person being blocked was carrying a peony-shaped backpack in the shape of a cloth. The girl in the way said, "Classmate, as long as you join the Tianqing team, you will be as dazzling as the stars." The peony remained silent, with a silent expression on its face, and the boy who was blocking the way continued speaking. "What exactly do you want? Don't you want to leave a brilliant mark in your youth with us?" The peony remained silent and replied lightly, "I don't want to." The girl blocking the way spoke again. "We advise people to join the team, but there is a threshold. Not everyone can be recruited. We see that you have a hint of independent temperament. Don't be ignorant, join the Tianqing team quickly." Xiaoji shouted out, "Peony!" and came to her side. The two people who were blocking the way said in unison when they saw another unimportant person coming, "Hello, do you have anything to do with the Tianqing team? If you want to join the team, just wait a moment. We are currently talking to her. We are the Tianqing team that makes even crying children laugh. Have you heard of it?" Xiaoji shook his head. "I haven't heard of it at all." The other party immediately felt dissatisfied. "What? Since you don't know our name, where is the face of the star team? It seems that it's time we taught you a lesson, this arrogant person." After speaking, the two of them distanced themselves from each other and cleared the battlefield. "Come on, kid." Xiaoji smiled slightly. "Great, can we start the Pokémon battle again? Then come on." The girl who was blocking the way made a big star pattern gesture in front of her, indicating the start of the battle, and then threw her own Pokéball. At this moment, the other party sent out a Pokémon they had never seen before. It was thin and had short limbs, like a lying mouse. Due to its small size, its eyes were particularly large, and under its protruding mouth were a pair of exposed front teeth. Xiaoji was particularly excited and took out his phone modem to search for it. It is learned that the Pokémon is named Zhipi+, a poison mouse Pokémon, with attributes of poison and general. Although it has a gentle personality, once provoked by someone, it will bite them with its sharp front teeth that have been infused with poison, causing them to become paralyzed. In order to prevent the enemy from approaching the territory, it will use venom with a pungent odor to draw patterns around the nest. After learning the above information, Xiaoji muttered, "General type, poison type. Let's decide to let Lucario fight." Turning his head, Lucario stood beside him and stepped forward, appearing handsome. "Use acid bombs." The juicy mole immediately jumped up, spewing out a jet green mucus from its protruding mouth. "Use bullet punches to counterattack." Lucario leaped up with his legs, and with a bullet punch, he scattered the venom flying towards him into the air. The girl blocking the way exclaimed in surprise, "What?" Xiaoji replied with a relaxed expression on his face. Poison-based ultimate moves can have no effect on steel-based Pokémon. Lucario, use shadow clones. A circle of shadows lit up next to the juice mole, and the other person who was not good at walking looked dizzy and disoriented. The other trainer ordered hastily, "Use random scratching to attack this." "Oh, no, attack that." Under the disorderly command of the girl blocking the way, the squeezing mole repeatedly pounced in the air as it was about to take all its clones. Xiaoji is giving orders again. "Lucario, use waveguide shells." As the juice mole turned around, the only clone left on the scene was already gathering energy behind it, and a wave of missiles hit it. Squeezing mole. Under the worried words of the girl blocking the way, she lost her combat ability. What's going on with this new face? The thief is amazing. Another boy blocking the way couldn't help but be shocked when he saw it. What? My younger generation lost. Who is the other party sacred? Since that's the case, I, the senior, can only meet you. A new round of confrontation is about to erupt, and here comes a familiar voice. What are you guys doing? As the sound moved, it was Nemo, who had already gone on an adventure 2 weeks ago, who had returned. The 2 members of the Tianqing team present exclaimed in surprise. What? The student president was discovered by a troublesome guy. I saw Nemo bypass the 2 troublemakers and suddenly approach Zhu Zi, speaking earnestly. You can't do this, Zhu Zi. Zhu Zi quickly waved his hand and explained. You misunderstood, Nemo. It's not me who's causing trouble. If you want to engage in a Pokémon battle, the opponent should be Miss I. Zhu Zi awkwardly shook his mouth. So I meant this. Nemo just glanced sideways at the 2 people across from her. Oh, it seems I misunderstood. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be the Tianqing team, who is forcibly recruiting people to join the team again. The 2 people across from each other also responded awkwardly. That's right, hello. I see. As the president of the student union, I have an obligation to settle disputes on campus. After a brief thought, Nemo said. But the opportunity is rare, Zhu Zi, you can use that secret prop to solve the problem. Speaking, he took out something from his pocket and handed it to Zhu Zi, who opened his hand to take a look. Tai Jingzhu. How could it be? Before Zhu Zi could finish speaking, Nemo answered. Zhu Zi, hurry up and give it a try to see if Pikachu's Too Crystal skill can stabilize with the blessing of 2 crystal beads. While fighting, learn how to use it. Speaking, he stepped back and made way for Zhu Zi's battlefield. The boy from the other side star team said. What, haven't I become a training test for newcomers' first attempt at Tai Jingzhu? Bullying us for not attending classes properly and not having Tai Jingzhu. Nemo spoke coldly from the side. If you don't want to, let me be your opponent. The other party blushed with sweat. Then I'll fight against this stranger, there's still a chance of winning. Nemo, who had regained a satisfied expression, said. Okay, take your positions and start the battle. After the hostile boy posed in the middle 2 position again, he sent out the little weasel. Lucario, come back, thank you for your hard work. Zhu Zi said as he recaptured Lucario and sent Pikachu back to the Pokémon Ball. There are fewer weasels, use angry front teeth. As the meerkat with its big teeth exposed approached, Zhu Zi quickly took out the Tai Jingzhu that had not yet been covered in heat. The sky was dark, and a bright light was thrown onto Pikachu's body along with the Tai Jingzhu this time. Pikachu's entire body was in a clear crystalline state, and the previously blurry crystals on his head finally showed off, with clear contours that did not represent any of the 18 attributes. Yes, hat. Everyone present saw it vividly and was all surprised. Indeed, the crystalline shape resembles a duck-tongue hat, and the style is the same as the hat on Zhu Zi's head. Combined with the shape of Pikachu, it looks like a crystal hat on top of Pikachu's head. What is this too crystalline? Before the other party could react, the attack from Machi Xiao had not yet fallen. Use 100,000 volts. The power of the crystallized 100,000 volts has been greatly enhanced, and a thunderous attack has hit the body of the little weasel, squeezing. In a mournful cry, he lost his combat ability. The 2 members of the Tianqing team only realized when they saw this eerie and overly crystalline Pikachu. What? This Pikachu. This is too crystallized. Isn't it that we defeated 2 large robots before, fought on par with Huanghua, and then defeated the transfer student of Saiji? We have encountered a tough situation, go back quickly. Report to the 5 leaders of the Tianqing team base. The battle ended, and the 2 blocking members of the Tianqing team ran away in disappointment. Nemo leaned in again. It's truly worth it, Zhu Zi and Pikachu. The feeling of being too crystalline is also great, and as for your eerie ability to be too crystalline, it's finally a glimpse. I will inform the teachers in the Academy and Alliance of the results of this battle for them to study, and another possibility of being too crystalline has emerged. Zhu Zi was praised and answered with some embarrassment. I am not very proficient in the study of Too Crystallization, and I cannot say for sure how rare Pikachu's hat Too Crystallization ability is. However, Pikachu and I will actively cooperate in our research. The hat is too crystalline. Nemo was overjoyed. Zhu Zi, you are really a genius. The hat is too crystallized. Let's call Pikachu's strange Too Crystallized ability for now. Too Crystallization is a unique combat mechanism in our Parthian region, and the random Too Crystal attribute greatly increases the flexibility of combat. Unexpectedly, it has opened up a new possibility for you from overseas. Zhu Zi was praised by Nemo and felt a bit at a loss, and in the end, Nemo didn't forget to remind him. After the battle of Tai Jing Hua, Tai Jing Zhu will become temporarily unusable. You know that you need to go to the Pokémon Center to store energy. It was taught in Teacher Leihy's class before. Of course I know. I saw Zhu Zi stuttering in response, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead, indicating that he had not listened well to the class content. Suddenly, he pulled the topic aside and said, "By the way, Nemo. What group of guys is the star team?" Nemo expressed helplessness. The Tianqing team is composed of a group of students with low attendance rates in class, and they also enjoy racing in groups. The teacher seemed to have a headache for them. So. That. The peony on the side interrupted Nemo's introduction to the star team and lowered her head. Thank you. Thank you all. I have to leave now. After finishing speaking, run away. Wow, it seems you helped her out. However, Mutant is still so shy. Even though we are in the next dormitory, Xiaoqing and I are. After speaking, Nemo turned around and was about to leave on the long staircase leading to the main building of the college. Zhu Zi, I also need to report the previous battle to Principal Lackwell. I need to leave first. Principal. By the way. Didn't the principal notify me to come to the square and he wants to deliver the crystal beads to me? Why did he let Nemo, who has already left school, do it on my behalf? Nemo answered. Actually, it happened to be here. On the one hand, I had a video call with Principal Lackwell before, and he asked me to help him give you too many pearls. In the video, I saw him fiddling with leather clothes and hair gel, and I was also puzzled by what the principal was doing. I have never seen such a serious principle linked to the fashionable things these young people use. Also, a few days ago in the southern wilderness area, I saw two flashes of light, one red and one purple, chasing after each other, competing and not giving in. I think these two Pokémon are very unusual. I came over to report them quickly today, and it happened. Zhu Zi's eyes lit up. Really fake. Is there still such a strong Pokémon in existence? I'm not sure either, their movement speed is too fast for me to see clearly. You can also go and take a look, just south of the college gate, which is the direction I encountered them. Nemo said, pointing her finger at the location of the school gate. Zhu Zi said excitedly to Pikachu. Did you hear that, Pikachu? Let's decide to go see that place now. Pickups. Pikachu nodded and jumped onto Zhu Zi's shoulder. The two of them ran towards Nemo's finger. Nemo shouted loudly behind them. Zhu Zi, don't forget our alliance's battle agreement. Don't worry, I won't forget. I'm the one who wants to become a Pokémon master. Goodbye. As the two parted, Musashi and Kojiro from the Rockets poked their heads out of the bushes by the roadside. What? Little Ghost went to find the rare Pokémon. It seems that we cannot continue to idle here. Let's gather with Meow Meow and Guoran Wang later and escape together. Just do it this way. As they were discussing, Meow Meow and Guaranwang rushed towards the direction of the teaching building in a hurry. Not good. Musashi, Kojiro. What's wrong, you guys? You're running out of breath, what happened? Meow Meow took out the 4 envelopes on his body and gasped for breath as he spoke. Quick. Look. This. Musashi and Kojiro opened it and took a look. Rich. There's still so much. No, that's right. It was the magic wall doll that handed it to me, saying that Principal Lackwell gave us this month's salary. The two of them, who realized later, had their eyes shaped like gold coins. I didn't expect the college to be so wealthy, much more than us working hard. So it seems that by working a few more months, we can accumulate a wave of savings and implement financial freedom. So what are we waiting for? Hurry up and go back to work, don't let the principal down his sincerity towards us. Yeah, meow. Sonins. After speaking, the 4 of them happily walked towards the direction of the teaching building, murmuring from time to time. What a happy feeling.